Bare quitta liga som spiller Overwatch. Ah, did we get to the fucking... We did not. Yeah, that's fine. Just...
Hva skjer, Nikita?
Jo, hva skjer?
Alt bra?
Nei, altså, jeg taper mine league-ranked games, ass, så...
Same, ass. Det er første gang jeg spiller league, og vi taper, ass. Dere er så dårlige. Just give up. Wow.
Tusen takk for motiverende ordene.
100%, ass. Hvis du trenger det, jeg er her.
Takk, bro, takk.
Er det bare du og Abdi som spiller?
Abdi, han ventet på meg siden jeg var i game, så Abdi... Nå jeg venter på Abdi fordi han...
Hva er det han spiller? Spiller han ranked?
Nei, han spiller sånn casual game mode, sånn ha det gøy.
Ok, det er bra, ass. Det er bra. Han vil ikke bare bli banna.
Good.
Og de har tapt, ass. Til nå problemet er kontrollet bryr. Hvordan spiller man spillet her? Du må move kameraet samtidig.
Du må bruke spacebar for å fokusere kameraet på deg. Så hvis du tar musepekeren over...
Det visste jeg ikke, ass.
Ja, du vet hvordan du beveger kameraet. Hvis du drar musepekeren liksom helt til høyre eller helt til venstre, du beveger kameraet.
Ja. Ok, ja, da blir det.
Det er noe å bli vant til, ass. Jo.
Ja, hva skjer? Hva er den her? Nei.
Bror din ga meg motivation, man.
Hva sa han?
Han sa... Bare gi opp, ass. Etter det er bare sånn, fuck. Så. Lost. Vet du hva dette Rengar game var det? Så fuckings bra, jeg har 0. Jeg har 0. Eller whatever the fuck, man.
Vi er snart ferdig.
Ja.
Vi taper fordi jeg måtte jette oss, bror. Jeg fikk det biggest high roll etterpå.
Etterpå du måtte defuse på det. Jeg må se. Ring inn. Så jeg finner snacks hjemme.
Og jeg fikk Eureka, jeg fikk Ability Haste. Jeg fikk så mye.
Tillbaka. I'm not even mad at the game, bro. I'm just sad. Okay.
Horrific building. Så vitt en attack speed. Bara ta.
Abdi. Det var noe jeg faktisk gjorde i går. Jeg lagde en nettside for sånn 2 dager siden. Eller var det i går? Jeg husker ikke, bro. Jeg så Steam Deprived. Jeg tror det var det i går. Jeg lagde en nettside i går. Se hva du synes om den. Eller du må bli ferdig med spillet litt. For at du er ferdig med spillet.
Den är superstark och subber. Holy moly. Legit hvis de dreper Irelia. Resten jeg har det on the bag. Hva slags nettside er det? Ja, vi er snart ferdige.
Ok, jeg venter på at du er helt ferdig.
Ok.
Fordi jeg føler det er en... Jeg har puttet veldig mye effort.
Ah. God damn, bro. Vi legit, jeg pakker opp hele laget til en Ramus, bror. Med 2000 og 2000 hardstyle stack, bror.
Ah. Hadde med meg og min poppy game, fuck.
Og han bare jumper på meg ferdig, bror. Resten av laget er sånn. Maks man kan ha på Magic Pen.
Ja, flat. Eller flat kan du ha unlimited percentage, tror jeg du kan maksimum ha sånn 40, tror jeg. Noe sånt. Eller bytter jeg om, kanskje.
Magic penetration, jeg har 44, bro. Ja, vi tappte.
Ja.
It is what it is, bro.
Nei. Oh. Okay, Abdi, check this website, bro.
Artist, YouTuber, musician.
Mhm.
Sine myke cursor.
Bare prøv å bevege faen.
2 sek. Ok, her er det sånn portfolio.
Da kjør screen, bro.
Ok.
Jeg ser hva faen det gjør.
Links. YouTube.
Ja, det er lenge siden.
Damn. Hvilken kanal er dette?
Det er min musikkanal. Men bro, se, jeg har en... Du kan bevege chatboxene, man. Og du kan lukke dem også.
Jeg kan ikke gjøre den større. Ellers.
Nice.
Hvorfor er denne her over denne? Hvorfor er denne her
sånn
less
funker.
priority, bror?
Fordi det er sånn det funker. Og det er en chatroom der du kan chatte med random folk. Den one pickup som har skrevet, det er en helt random person. Bro, når du skriver noe... ok. Du må skrive navnet ditt ovenfor. Ja. Tror jeg. Jeg vet ikke. Nei, det er... Ja, du... Det første er din username, det andre er din message. Ikke gå tilbake til your profile. Det første du skriver, det er ditt username. Da, Abdi, det kommer til å være der for resten av livet, bro. Abdi, hvis du skriver det, det kommer til å være der. Det kommer til å være der for resten. For all it. Ikke gjør det, bro. Don't do it, please. Du kan gjøre de andre sine greier, man. Hva enn du vil, mann. I love arrays.
Er det sånn nettside som lager nettside til deg?
Hva da?
Er det sånn nettside som lager nettside, eller kom du
Nei,
med
det der
alt
er
dette her selv?
HTML. Alt dette her er HTML. Men jeg har vibe-koda den. Jeg har liksom spurt ChatGPT om å lage HTML.
Ok. Sakura Windows.
For eksempel, hvis du klikker i... Den er bare sånn fake player, den spiller faktisk ikke lyd. Hvis du...
Updates log, bror.
Ja, man. Finisher this. Jeg tror egentlig det var 25. og 27. Jeg gjorde ingenting, og jeg bare skrev 27. Ja. Hvis du klikker i
Vi er ikke i 27. engang, bror. Hva er det du skal gjøre i 27.?
Ja, det er det. Hvis du klikker i references update, det er da jeg fikk en inspirasjon for nettsiden. Det er fra han karen her. Uff. Så hvis du klikker i chatbox på venstre siden, det er noe som heter chatbox. Det er ikke... Hvordan sier jeg venstre på somalisk? For jeg føler det bare høres... Der, ja. Ser du? Ok, så du kan se det, så du kan scrolle opp. Det er masse folk som liksom... Her kan du bruke n-ordet. Altså, her du kan skrive hva faen du vil. Men hvis du scroller opp, du kan se det er liksom messages for all eternity. Det er liksom messager for sånn 2 måneder siden, sånn 1 måned siden, og det er infinite scroll.
Ekte weeps, bror. Kom.
Jeg vet, men ekte weeps. Ja, updates på venstre. Ja.
Han har faktisk?
Ja, den der spiller faktisk musikk.
Ok. Jeg vet ikke hva slags sjanger dette her kalles. Men
Yeah.
I don't like it, brother. Not my taste, I guess. Files, edit, views.
Det er veldig vanskelig. Her er en acquired taste, altså. Jeg skal ikke lyve. Hvis du vil se på andre nettsider... Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Var du som tegnet denne her, eller er det en annen person som tegnet?
Nei, det er en annen person.
Ok. For det er den du bruker i Discord også, ikke? Nei, du bytta.
Nei, jeg brukte den på Steam, tror jeg.
Det er Steam.
Ja.
Ok. Er dette mininik?
Ja, man.
Hvem er mininik, bror?
Hvem er mininik? Du vet det er mininik,
Dimitri Nus, bror.
6 år siden, Dimitri Nus. Oh my god. Oh my god. Det er så sykt.
Holy moly, du ser så ung ut, bror.
Fordi jeg var så ung, man.
Welcome to Dimitri News, where you get fresh news on this YouTube channel. Let's do this.
Back når jeg ikke var depressed, man. Før covid-vaksinen.
Hello, everybody.
Holy moly, det er en gold mine, bror. Det er en gold
Ja, du skal...
Everybody, and welcome to Dimitri News, where you get fresh news on this
Holy
YouTube channel.
moly, en gold mine, bror.
Nei. Storming Area 51 er dritbra. Jeg sier du tar den. Ja, den her, ja.
Today we're going to be talking about literature. I want everybody to pick up a book that you're gonna analyze. Miss Ruby.
Oh my god.
No. Holy moly.
Can I read this book? Sure, that looks reasonable. Hey, Mr. Ruby.
Nah, det var så dirty, bro.
What about this book? Oh, is that what you're using?
Holy moly, bror. Nei, jeg fant det faktisk gold.
Ah. Ah.
Ja.
Nei, ta på deg, mann. Ta på
Nei.
bodypillow der du er.
Jeg husker faktisk denne her, når den kom.
Ja, jeg husker den. Ja, jeg hadde put Theo in the picture. Ok, altså, det var... Nå lagde jeg ikke bra content lenger. Alt etter det er si. Og min Vidar Loca var bra. Jeg snakker fullstendig spansk.
Hola, me llamo Nikita. No tengo hermanos. Soy de Letonia. Tengo 17 años. Mis intereses
Jeg var
es
17.
son
Jeg var 17
jugar
år,
con
Abdi.
el...
Jeg er underage, bro. Jeg var en minor.
Holy moly.
Jeg var en
League of Legends.
entrenador.
Ja. Jeg spiller Yasu botgame, så jeg får pentakill. Bro, jeg skiftet min league til spansk.
Har du samme setup fortsatt?
Nei. Jeg har samme PC, men ikke samme...
Nei. For some reason, jeg trodde du hadde en Pringle og den var reflektet. Du har bare to din big back, bror. Holy moly. Æsj, det er rød også.
Det er norsk Pringles. Se, bro,
Det
jeg
er
skifter.
jo-
Det er en ny chipspose, bro. Jeg skifter til en ny chipspose, så du det? Gå
Holy
tilbake.
moly,
Bare
går
se, bare,
til.
ja, bro, bare se. Se den
Sour
flavor,
cream
bro.
også.
Og pluss sjokolade, bro. Se, det er sjokolade også.
Me hablo ruso, noruego, inglés y...
Jeg tar på min barrio, mann. Min barrio sen.
Nei. Hva er det jeg hører her?
Det er spansk.
Me hablo ruso, noruego...
Norego!
Det er sånn du sier norsk på spansk, Norvego. Jeg trodde det var n-ordet.
inglés y
Oh,
un poco
bro.
español. Tengo un gato gris que se llama Freya.
Jeg husker
Katten
den,
din
ass.
heter Freya! Holy
Ja.
moly, exposa seg selv i meg.
Ja, 7 år siden. Hvor lenge lever katter, tror du?
Nei, noen lever sikkert 15 år. bror.
Go, scheisen.
Bra.
Ok.
Leve, yo boy.
Jeg
Un gato gris que se llama Freya.
Jeg vurderer om jeg vil si det eller ikke.
RIP Freya, bror. RIP, bror.
Ja, det var ikke en huskatt, det var en utekatt, så hun gikk ute veldig mye, og så til slutt ble påkjørt. Ja.
Shit, deg. I deg de gangene, altså, bror.
Bro, jeg visste dette her til spansklæreren min. Spansklæreren min vurderte dette her, by the way.
Mi
Hun
barrio
ga
se
meg
llama
karakter på
Villar.
denne videoen.
Nei, han exposer seg selv også, bror.
Bro, det er det! Jeg doksa meg selv!
Wow.
Jeg vet ikke hva jeg tenkte på, jeg literally dokser meg selv her, bro.
Jeg bor i Bjerke.
Ja, det er
Jeg kan
det.
vise deg akkurat hvor jeg bor, faktisk.
Menschmuseum.
Ser du denne lange veien her?
Ja, ja.
Jeg bor
Mhm.
her borte, bror.
Damn, let's go, bro.
Jeg doksa meg selv litt også, men det er bare for deg, fordi jeg vet du bor der borte, bror.
En mi barrio hay supermercados.
Bro, jeg har ikke vært i Lindre sentrum i hvor lenge, altså, bror.
Es grande.
Off.
Mi edificio es alto y
Nei, han faktisk doksa seg selv helt, bror.
Bro, du aner ikke, jeg tenkte ikke på det, man. Jeg var så dum, bro. Jeg skal ikke lyve.
Ekte hvit, og den er fortsatt her.
Ja, jeg skal ikke.
Tiene
Jeg la bare
cuatro
være.
plantas.
Nei.
cerca de mi casa hay una
Ingen
Du
har
viser
gjort noe,
akkurat
man, og det har
pack der
vært
man
sykt,
går
bro.
til huset ditt. Nei, bror.
Nei, dette
al
her
lado
er,
de mi
det er
casa
skolen jeg
hay
gikk på.
una
Hey, Kiwi.
Det er
que se llama
Kiwi. Back in the day, man, det er før den ble pyntet.
Enfrente de mi casa hay muchos pisos.
Og de pynta disse her også.
A
Det
la
var sånn.
Hvem er det som bor der?
Bro, jeg tror dette her var på 17. mai, bro.
Escuerta
Det er litt slik, hvis du ser, liksom, hvis du snur seg opp dit, det er fuckings jenter med bunad som var på den bussplassen. Det er litt slik på 17. mai jeg filmet.
la
Se på bussen, bror. Bussen så 17. mai grei.
escuerta y un bosque y un río.
17. mai grei, bror. Det er en flagg, bror. Hva er det
A
jeg
la
sier?
derecha hay parada de autobuses.
Jeg parade
Bjerke
det,
estar al
Han dokser seg selv igjen. Like, holy moly.
norte del centro de Oslo.
Du sier akkurat koordinatene. Bror.
Med Vida Myklin.
En un apartamento con mi
Nå, dette her er faktisk
Actually,
all
jeg
my, bror.
Det er actually takk som jeg ser på, holy shit.
Er du real fan fortsatt?
Nei, ass, ikke...
Vi så på Weather
liksom-
With You sammen. Så du ikke?
Bro, ja,
Filmet det.
jeg tror bare Abdi literally som de første 10 sekundene er det eneste som har vært å se. Alt annet er sånn.
We're entering the Colosseum.
Ja, du har sett peak av det. Du har sett peak av hele filmen. Det er ikke noe bedre. Det blir ikke bedre. Du kan bare slutte å se.
Holy shit, dude. I just came out of the movie right now,
Hey, you came out.
and
Ja.
I'm feeling fucking great. Honestly.
Det er så dårlig audio jeg skal ikke live. Liksom, jeg visste ikke hvordan man fikset audioen. Jeg faktisk putta IQ. Jeg fucka det opp. Jeg skal ikke live. Jeg liker ikke hvordan audioen ble.
I just finished watching Wedding With You.
Ja,
Så skal jeg ikke være min japp er ikke bra. Det er
It was
dritdårlig
amazing,
japp.
honestly. Like, I don't know if I like Your Name or Wedding With You better, but
Vi så på Weather
I
With
just
You
can't
sammen,
believe
ikke sant?
it's such good for
Ja,
art.
jeg tror
I
det
think
gjorde
the
ikke så
visuals
det
were released.
For jeg kunne høre på at
Ja,
jeg
det var
gråt. Han satt
korona.
rett ved siden av meg. Man.
Yeah, same ass. Holy moly.
Stunning. Like the clouds were really beautiful.
Personlig, jeg syntes
Jeg vil-
at faktisk Your Name var mer trist enn Weather With You.
Tusen takk! Tusen takk, jeg er ikke den eneste. Tingen er at han har ikke sett Your Name, så han vet ikke liksom the peak.
Mm.
Før han liksom så Weathering.
Men det var trist fortsatt, bror.
Ja.
Like all characters were really memorable, and they were there for a reason, you know.
Ok, fortell meg min karakter sin navn, du. Remember.
They fit with
Jeg
the
husker
story so
ingen.
well.
Ah,
They're
ellers,
kinda like
ellers.
Jeg skal
flowing
ikke live.
together.
Denne jappen her er ikke bra, bro. Jeg skal ikke
Ja,
live.
men
Det er
det-
veldig dårlig japp.
Surely did get way more emotional on
Oh my god.
Wedding
Aha.
With You than Your Name.
Ja.
I think Your Name was really
Det er
good. I
ikke
really
verdt
enjoyed
det
the
der.
movie. Really liked it.
Det er liksom om jeg hadde hatt bedre audio, men
Really
jeg
liked
synes
Wedding With
ikke.
You.
Jeg har lyst til å lage en shortfilm med meg. Jeg har tenkt på det før.
Hell yeah, man. Vi kan lage shortfilm. Watching this with you was a blast. Damn, Catburger. Jeg trodde det var du som skrev.
Hva det er meg, bror. Hva mener du? Hvorfor liker Milad? Milad var ikke der engang.
How is this even considered a movie theater? Ja, Milo var ikke der. Han bare la seg bedre enn Gucci. Han sa han ville komme.
Derfor han kom for sent. Det var koronatider.
Ja, det er det.
Legit, det var en plass igjen. Det var nok plass til han, men de var sånn, nei, han kom for sent, altså.
Mm.
Og så de refundet ticketene våre.
Mm.
Jeg husker det, altså.
Men det... Ah,
Denne her, i min mening, dette er the peak of your career, altså, bror.
Aff, du likte den videoen. Jeg så på den, rewatch hadde den recently. Jeg vil gjøre mer sånn type video. Jeg liker veldig mye sånn analytical videos. Burde du se Bavan?
Hvorfor trodde jeg det der var banen for et sekund, bror?
Nei, hvis du vil se Bavan, gå litt opp. Skål litt opp til der det står She Exists. Skål litt mer. She exists der. Why your wife exists. Nei, litt lenger ned. She exists.
Hvilken nummer, bror?
Nummer 2, helt nederst. Nei, du var der, ja. Bytt til. Why your wife. Ja.
Imagine a world where nothing exists.
Jeg synes den her hadde bra.
Is it possible? Let's go from the statement that if nothing exists, then everything exists. Every thought would be rational. But what is rationality? How can we know that a thought is rational?
Bro, dette var etter
Let's say that
Lasse.
rationality comes
Jeg
from
lagde denne
thought.
videoen her.
What if the consciousness is the existential? That means something we can perceive with our senses does not exist. That would be stupid. Because what if I don't see my friend right now? Does that
Det at doxefjeset hans er alltid
Ja,
morsomt.
dagsefet sans, ass.
or is it because I
Men jeg
can
tror det var
think of
fra
my
videoen
friend
hans fra
that
det.
he
Ja, ja.
still exists?
Det er reaction-videoen hans.
If you think about it, then my friend exists right now, though I can't see him nor physically touch him in the current moment. Therefore, I can't find him using all of my senses, but I can still think of him. Just like my wife Ram, even if I can't perceive her through all of my senses, I can still think of her. Therefore, she exists. I thought about this while watching K-On! K-On! Is a deep philosophical question about what
Nå puller du bullshit fra ingen steder, bror.
a human truly needs in his life.
Nei,
I suggest you watch it.
jeg tror det er sånn det er en disclaimer i descriptionen min. Det er sånn, nothing in this should be...
Mm. Nei, de fikk bare comments, bror. Ja, hvem er dette her? Nei, det han sier. Altså, hvem er lille karen her, bror?
En annen Karol Keon ain't philosophical. 5 år siden. Tenk han får notification, han bare, what the fuck er denne videoen her, når ser jeg på den? Nav. Han skal slutte kommenten sin på da 5 år siden. Slutt å troll me in comment section, bro. Genuine. Jeg håper du blir sånn der spam-detekted, ass.
Ja, jeg tuller litt, bror. Vi kan ha den der være.
Mm.
Ok, vi kan ha den være, men... Mm. Yes, sir. Goldmine, Jared Goldmine. Men må finne min
Nei, men
favorittvideo.
det er noe. Hva er morsomt?
Hvor er min favorittvideo, bror? Hvor er den? Hvor er den?
Oh my god. Oh my
Sex
god.
og shit.
Sex og shit.
Holy.
Best video so far. Det er noe, ass. Det er noe. Det er noe. Karen sender. Hva er det Karen sender? Hei, oppi.
Ja.
Bro, hvorfor ser han så gammel ut? Hvorfor ser han så gammel ut? Oh god, I hit the 60, bro.
Holy moly. Det der er crazy pull, bror. Kom lik, bror.
Ja. Vent, League eller Pirates? Ja.
Nei, holy moly, no.
Abdi, sa du League eller Pirates?
Kom, LOL.
Ja, LOL, ok. Du ville spille piratspillet, men...
Nei, jeg må få min border, ass. Det at Milla har fått en... Bra, folk har fått en før meg, og det er som startet å grinde, bror. Og jeg trodde jeg spilte, bror. Apparently not, bror.
Hvilken level...
Jeg er på 24 nå. Snart 25.
Åh, shit. Er det ikke sånn 30 for å få den?
26 for å få det. 32 for å bli ferdig.
Ja, ok, du er snart ferdig da.
Ja.
Gå på min main, fordi jeg trenger sånn 1 level for å få den på min main.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Holy moly. Dani sa han joiner.
Let's go.
Så ta en uten meg mens.
Lage en kort. Jeg vet ikke. Jeg føler det er 2027. Min Nick skal uploade nå, ass. 2027.
Vi får se, ass.
Jeg tror det blir noe neste år, ass. Neste år noe skal skje.
You know you want me.
Ja.
Så fortsatt på. Lokalen så.
Hvem sover?
Danish. Har ikke Karen night shift eller noe sånt? Skal han ikke liksom stå opp 5? Oi.
Det vet jeg ikke. Laks og fizz, bror. Holy. Visste du Laks er favorittkarakteren til Lik?
Hun har masse skins. Jeg tror hun selv, liksom, folk kjøper mest av skinsene hennes, hun selger liksom veldig mye. Men her sendte jeg sånn at det der 2xKO devsa blir for Leos. Bro, det varte ikke. Det varte ikke like lenge som Runeterra, ass. De Terra til og med varte lenger før.
Den er litt synd, ass. For den er gøy.
Ja, den er gun.
Ikke jeg skulle ha spilt den hvis Legitary spiller jeg også alltid.
Jeg føler den. Det er bare liksom... Jeg er ikke into fighting games. I generally don't like them. My heart. Det er sånn... Ja. Men hvorfor fighting community ikke likte det?
That's it. Let your guard down.
Men hvis du ser liksom lifespan på fighting games, det er ikke sånn det er en sånn live service game som vinner. Det er alltid liksom en game blir released, så folk begynner å bli lei, og så releases en ny liksom Tekken, combat igjen, kan liksom ikke capture en audience lengde på en live service fighting game. Det er min så det er sånn jeg har sett markedet.
Tekken og Street Fighter gjør det alltid dritbra.
Ja, de gjør det dritbra liksom når de releaser spillene sine. Men det er liksom det er ikke sånn... De har ikke en sånn Tekken game som bare heter Tekken. Det er sånn... De releaser et nytt spill som kan få...
Det er for fighting games.
Ja, det må være økosystemet må være, så det er sånn... Hvis de skal lage 2XK, og jeg føler hvordan League må gjøre det, er sånn... De lager 2XK, og så 2XK 2, 2XK 3...
Det er bare hvordan de... Vi hadde 2 ganger og begge 2
Liksom... For Call of Duty kan jeg også ha skjønt det, for det er så Warzone. 100% Warzone. Liksom... De skjønner at liksom det er mer fight enn bare lage og trust that.
What am I supposed to do with it? Shut down. A little bit of heaven before the hell. Double kill. Enemy has been slain. They don't know. Nothing I can.
Så jeg skal starte å spille... Jeg likte den. Det var ikke sånn... Kunne spille med. Det var en kar jeg spilte.
Var det Tekken du sa, eller?
Street Fighter.
Ja, Street Fighter.
Tekken er dårlig, ass. Jeg husker bror min var knuste meg.
Nei, min bror er dårlig, alle fighter. Interesse for å bli bedre. Eller så vi bare liksom
de anmeldene. Fighting games, fighting games, fighting games. game so slow.
Things I'm gonna do.
Hva er den execute for folk da?
Locks them, locks them, locks. Som jeg har lyst på en Steam Deck, ass.
Man bare kjøper sånn
Just a look.
en annen, ikke Steam Deck, men en annen sånn handheld som funker på Steam. Sånn der ROG Asus Strix, tror jeg den het.
Ja, men de har ikke den i Norge også, ass, dessverre.
Nei, de faktisk
Har de den?
selger sånn. Ja, ROG Strix. Jeg har sett på sånne.
For det er så mange
Nei, det er folk som
spill
selger
jeg har.
på spill.
For det er så mange spill jeg har, men jeg orker ikke spille dem mens jeg er i PC-en, ass.
Ja, de er på komplett. For eksempel, vet du hva jeg egentlig tenkte? Jeg tenkte å bare putte sånn, kjøpe sånn, hva heter det, sånn Xbox greie som du har ovenfor din mobiltelefon. Ja, mobiltelefon, sånn der Xbox-kontroller underfor mobiltelefon, slik at det ser ut som en sånn bærbar PSP, basically. Ja, det er det, man. Men du kan finne cheapere modeller. Det er kanskje den dyre, som en av de dyreste modellene de har, men det er helt sikkert cheapere.
LVK er litt too rich for my blood, ass.
Ja, for det er det jeg liker, det jeg ville kjøpt, for det jeg husker var hva heter det? Ja.
My turn. An enemy has been slain.
Wow, han flasha for meg. That's crazy, ass. Jeg gikk inn litt for tidlig. Hva sånn, bra, sånne spill som Stardew Valley, Wizard with a Gun, sånne. Jeg har bare lyst til å spille det som Switch-spill, altså. Bare sove i senga mi, og så kose meg. Jeg er under det mitt lurer.
Suffering is the meaning of life. Well, their lives.
dø der.
Enemy rampage. An ally has been slain. Dying is such a turn off. An enemy has been slain.
Ja,
Double
so.
kill.
Hvem du spiller en gang?
An ally has been
Evelyn?
Hva heter det?
Enemy double kill. Enemy triple kill. Enemy rampage. Your turret has been destroyed.
Brorshop, det var det var.
Shut down. Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
Der ja, endelig jeg fant den.
An enemy
Den,
has
den
been
her
slain.
hadde de.
Vi taper på grunn av at du leter etter.
Jeg så en short også. For å sende den shorten. La meg bare run it down real quick.
500? Ja, men det er for mobilen da.
Ja, det er på mobilen, det er det. Men la meg vise deg liksom hvordan det er å bli short.
Coming the way, and I've still offered an app to play a quick game of
Ja, for eksempel dette her. Det er sånn det vil funke.
Blood Strike to see how this works.
Så kan du bare spørre spørsmål.
An ally has been slain.
Det er perfekt for sånn der du vet, jeg tenker sånn emulate-spill. Så du kan liksom emulate Pokémon på den. Så kan du spille Pokémon med den kontrollen. Jeg tror jeg har
Wait for me, sweetie. Enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. Enemy double kill. Shut down.
This
Ja,
is a
ja.
phone.
Jeg elsker han karen her, faktisk. Han litt bra video.
Word on the best handheld.
Han viser liksom sånn, fordi du kan bare emulate dritmasse games, så kan du bare bruke mobilen din med en sånn med det jeg viste der for sånn 5 minutter, så kan du bare chill, relax and chill, play games mens du er i bed også. Jeg vurderer denne setupen. Tingen er at liksom jeg har ikke logget den inn fordi jeg selv bruker mobilen min så ofte. Jeg er mer sånn at hvis jeg skal være i senga, jeg hører mer på sånn audiobooks eller noe sånt. Jeg spiller ikke. Jeg foretrekker å høre på audiobooks. Så hvis jeg faktisk har lyst til å spille, er det alltid så I just go easy.
hvorfor spiller vi kampen her fortsatt? Hva er det som skjer?
Jeg mener vi er her til teamet vårt bestemmer seg til å surrendre, det er en bestemmelse, så... Så det er vel liksom, hvis du vil... Jeg føler det mest effektive å gjøre for å grinde den der Battle Passen er bare FFP Games, fordi det er liksom litt som er om du vinner eller taper som spiller.
Det er det jeg faktisk tenker, men hvis du skal spille alene, lykke til med FF.
Ja, det er det du trenger liksom faktisk det.
Just want to tear your throat out with their teeth.
Eller 4 stykker, faktisk. Det er faktisk. Spesielt som i Mayhem, det er sånn... De har ikke lyst til å ende fordi de bare sånn, det er lyst til å slappe av. Så de bare... Gamesene bare varer litt.
A little bit of heaven before the hell.
This is a phone. It's great for doing all sorts of stuff like listening to music, watching movies, browsing the internet. But did you know there's another great trick it can do? It's true. Let me show you. Check this out.
Takk for oss. Jeg trodde jeg skulle få flash før Ultimate Cast var over. Jeg fikk ikke. Tarta, knelleles.
Show me the game of first first. Ja, virkelig fokus.
Hvordan starter vi vinningen, bror?
Jeg tror Chaos scala det derfor. Hun hopper opp.
Anything kids.
Når hun er icons.
Crazy at de ikke har scala opp heller.
Nei, jeg er useless som faen, bare spiller.
That's it now.
Setups. Some specific windows där den popper upp och kan gå fucking 1v5 och hela pakka, men hvis du missar den windowen, ja, där är det bara liksom. Hoppas du kan jumpa på liksom en dritspel shit parket och that's cool.
Okej, spawner så ska poppa off här nu.
Så, ja. Ja, men... hva prøver å ende bra her, det jeg ser på. GG. Jeg trenger en mer game of det, og jeg har Poro King Banner.
Same ass. La oss invite han her, og så kan vi spille vår siste Iran game. Jeg er så litt. Gangen også, så vi får se. Come in. Ok. Tenker han call, eller? Ja, bare vent. Jeg tror faktisk første som Cody. Jeg har spilt der Sea of Thieves også. Som veldig eller.
Cozy?
Cozy.
Som cozy game.
Sea of Thieves var noe av spiller.
Ja, men liksom starten var dritbra. Du har liksom alle vibes, så det er bare til slutt. Liksom, jo mer du spiller det, du kan liksom reacher der, det er sånn, nei, det er ikke noe mer liksom content å gjøre.
Jo, det var så mye content.
Hvis du ville liksom, jeg skjønner hva du mener, men liksom den der, du vet, vi gjorde story-moden. For det var sånn 5 andre sånne story-modes, vi ble ferdig med en, vi bare bro never again, bro, jeg har ikke lyst til å gjøre mer.
Det er sann i veien, jeg har fortsettet å spille alene.
Ja, men du likte det, men jeg tror ikke resten av folk har likt det, ikke?
De henter en igjen, hva heter igjen? We Were Here.
Men spill, eller liksom i...
Eller?
Oh shit, We Were... det der...
Ja, spilt den. Har jeg ikke spilt den nå?
Vi har spilt den sammen, den der gratis-versjonen av...
Den er ikke gratis for lenge da, men... We Were Here too. Jeg tror jeg spilte denne her med Milad. Var den på demo? Det er demo-versjonen. For jeg vet jeg spilte en med Milad, og spilte jeg med deg.
Jeg tror jeg satt stås til en We Were Here også, faktisk.
Vi spilte The Friendship. Expedition The Friendship. Så du var så dårlig, jeg husker det.
Du likte den ikke?
Nei, du var dårlig, bror.
Ja,
så var det. Jeg har updatet den, så det er ikke rart jeg legger, bror. Er en demo som updater seg? Jeg liker at det bare hadde en update og sånn, det var ferdig, altså.
Og så gikk tida på mann, altså. Men jeg kan skjønne hvorfor, fordi jeg føler det har vært veldig mange games som liksom Riot Devsa, sånn ex-Riot Devs har jobbet med, som liksom kinda floppa litt. For eksempel, hva heter det der League of Legends fotballspillet som vi spilte, Strikers, Omega Strikers for eksempel. Og så var det en sånn League of Legends Battle Royale game.
En spillet. Jeg er så glad jeg ikke kjøpte, rematchas, bror.
Hvorfor?
Vi spilte den aldri igjen, bror.
Det er det. Bro, Balen kjøpte det også, jeg sa refund. Han spurte meg hvordan refunder du. Etter det, jeg forklarte det ikke til han har ikke refundet den.
Bro, han har spilt under, eller han har spilt en halv.
Ja, da jeg sa at han skulle refunda, han spilte under 2 timer.
Han har først spilt under 2 timer.
Han spilte under 2 timer, det er GG. Det er det, altså. Fordi det er sånn, om vi ville spille det igjen, vi kunne bare piratkopiere det, og det var litt det jeg gjorde, og det var sånn, det var ikke vits, liksom.
That's why I respect it, for jeg har gjort det også, flere ganger.
Nei, det er det jeg gjorde med, du vet, Mugenics, akkurat nå training game, det er ingen bare piratkopiere det, om du kan spille det easy.
Ferdig med første trial.
Fant du ut selv, eller?
Jeg ble litt pissed, bror.
Du ble pissed?
Fordi de viser liksom alt man ser, man skal liksom tro på. De sier, å nei, men de viste ikke at Kaide kastet ballen i den. Men liksom, vi spiller Kaide, vi skal liksom vite alt hun har gjort, liksom. Og så bare bytta de med. Jeg ble pissed off, bror. Jeg var sånn lav, bror. Og så, bror, ikke bare det. Rantaro? Det kommer flash på kamera, ok, greit. Han går til kamera, ok. Men, ikke bare Kadi gjorde det, hun timet det, at den skulle treffe akkurat når Rantaro er der. Ikke bare det, det er en metallboll, så når den går i venten, når den treffer veggen, det skal komme en stor bang, men Rantaro hørte ikke en bang. Den lagde ikke lyd når den traff boka, og ikke lyd, og han bare står der, og den bare traff han. Bror, det er så dog shit, bror. Jeg ble sint, bror.
Legit. Første gang fordi jeg så på, ikke sant? Jeg tror det er bare den casen jeg har faktisk sett på.
Jeg tror nå de
klarte den
til Sushi.
Bro, jeg klarte ikke å solve den selv, bror. Jeg så, what the heck?
Det må være Sushi eller Gonta, bror. Det må være en av de etterpå. Jeg har altså teorier og sånn, de kommer til Kaide-greiene, bytta jeg bare, hva faen? Det gir ikke mening. Kaide og Sushi gir ikke mening, bror. Ingen vet hvem mastermind er. Det kan være hvem som helst av de 16 folka. Sushi, jeg kan ikke fortelle den.
Shit.
Men jeg Discord med.
Discord,
hvem helst av de 16 personene kan være mastermind? Sushi bare tror på Kaide. Nei, det kan være en av alle andre bortsett fra du og meg. Men det kan være Kaide, bror, du vet ikke. Og Kaide tror på Sushi som om han ikke kan være mastermind. De to bare tror på andre. Det er så bror, what? Bror, det skal jeg pisse meg opp, bror. To er det var gått, bror. Jeg er pissed opp allerede. Jeg er pissed opp nå, bror, fordi jeg spilte akkurat nå. Men Sushi sier, bror, jeg kan ikke fortelle deg om Hidden Door, fordi du kan ikke fortelle noe, fordi det kan mastermind. Bror, Kaide kan være mastermind, du bare fortalte henne. Kaide bare tror på han som han ikke kan være mastermind. For på alle andre cases, man kan finne ut, skjønner, hva som skjedde. Det her, du kan ikke finne ut helt til Kaide revealer at hun kastet ballen.
Bro, du putta sånn curse på PC-discorden min, og så blir jeg hørt ikke hva de jeppa om.
Det er sikkert min Discord. Vet du hva var det jeg sa? Bro, på alle andre cases, du kan finne ut, liksom, hva som skjedde, skjønner.
Det.
Liksom før, eller liksom, når det er investigert. Men den her, du kan ikke vite hva som har skjedd, helt til Kaide revealer at åja, det du så var ikke det du så, det var før vi gikk, jeg kastet ballen i den. Åja, ok, my bad, bror. Jeg på de jævla monocums pisser meg off, bror.
Nei, bra. Jeg vet hvorfor de hentet den stikker, bror.
De monocums pisser meg off. Eller jeg liker det ikke.
Hva heter hun igjen?
Hun man tror er hovedpersonen?
Fra andre... Nei. Fra andre spillet. Ikke Monokuma, men Monomi. Monomi. Bro, jeg hatet henne.
Hun også er jeg, bror. Hun bare pisser meg off, bror.
Hver gang Monokuma slår henne, jeg elsker henne.
Det var abuse, bror.
Jeg likte abuse, bror. Nei, resten jeg har ikke sett på, altså.
Ok.
Kanskje det er på tide å gå tilbake til YouTuberen, altså.
Hva var det du så på?
Jeg husker ikke, faktisk. Jeg kan finne...
Var det Kenshi, eller?
Nei, fordi de to første jeg så på Burlees.
Burlees, ok, Burlees, ja.
Decision Games. Jeg ser på Burlees alltid, altså. Hvis han har det. Hvis ikke, jeg bare finner en annen YouTuber.
Nei, men Hajime er den beste MC. Jeg tenkte, ok, Hajime er beste, men kanskje hun. Men bror, de to pisser meg off, bror. De bare stoler på hverandre, bror. Uten noe, bror. Du kan ikke være mastermind. Hvorfor? Jeg bare vet det, bror.
Hva heter han første fra...
Makoto?
Jeg likte Makoto også, bror. Han var en bitch. Men Makoto var fortsatt... Han var goated, bror. Det er Ramuna, eller Ramuna, bror.
Eller Ramuna.
Du vil ta samme karriere, bror. La oss.
Også i toeren, faktisk. Du vet når hun der nurse-jenta var killer.
Ja.
I starten jeg var litt pissed off, og jeg tenkte, de bare endret personligheten hennes, liksom. Men også på slutten, det gir mening, skjønner. For du finner ut at alle despair. Og det var det hun husket, at hun var despair. Jeg bare, ja, ok. Så det, okay, der ble mindre piss for det liksom. Det ga mening. Vi bare visste ikke hvorfor. Det var greit. I starten jeg tenkte, de bare endret personer bare for å gjøre en killer, hva faen, det ga faktisk mening.
Det var en person jeg husker som døde. Holy moly, det er kind of crazy å si det faktisk.
Hvem da?
Hun fra toeren, hun med kimono-greia.
Åja, hun. I starten hans hun, men etterpå hun prøvde å være bedre, skjønner. Men det begynte å like.
Være bedre, bror.
Nei, hun prøvde, skjønner, det var sånn, ok. Han brukte mye Hiko. I starten var helt bitt mot alle, etterpå han sa sorry og sånn.
Yeah, med en gang. Vet du hva, det der er redemption.
Det var redemption.
Holy shit, når døde de mine ellers, bror.
Er det bra?
For du skulle tenke på det. Den går oppe. Jeg liker det serious, altså. Til i dag, den dagen Belize hva heter igjen, uploader, skal jeg legge legendarisk.
Han uploader han. Jo, han kom tilbake, gjør han ikke?
Nei, han uploader videoer, det er bare at...
Han hadde ikke sånn lang pause.
Nei, det der er Corey.
Det var Corey som hadde det. Corey hadde dritlang pause.
Han, hva heter igjen? Belize popper opp. Men hva heter igjen? Herregud, så chatter om, bror. What? Han...
She got a bad though, is that true?
Ja...
Hvorfor er det bare her, bror?
Is that the Grim?
Is that hell? Is that the Grim? Is that the Grim Reaper? Ja, bror, det er dritmorsom. No! 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 Hva er det nye Poppy Playtime? Alle hater på den.
Poppy Playtime 3 eller 4?
Det er femmeren.
5?
Det var Poppy Playtime.
Og det kom ut.
Ja, det er nylig. Jeg så på mange youtubere som de hater på. Fordi de bare dragger den, skjønner.
Ja, men Poppy Time 4? Den med, hva heter igjen? Er det med katten? Bro, jeg så på Belize spille den, eller var det Corey? Bro, det var samme greie om og om igjen.
Ja, et på femmeren, det kan være siste, skjønner. Nei, de dragger den enda mer, altså.
Lage sånn der in the same universe of Poppy Playtime eller noe sånt.
What?
Poppy Playtime? Bro, maks 3 spill kom igjen, bror.
Hvilken da faen er det jeg om, bror?
Jeg snakker om in the same universe.
Jeg kan mye om å lage sequels, men det handler om Hollywood, man.
Ja, men hva sa du?
Åja, sånn der in the same universe of Poppy Playtime. Ja, sant.
I stedet for å lage femmeren, liksom?
Ja, i stedet for å lage femmeren.
Ja, men liksom, det connecter, liksom. Det er fortsatt samme, fordi han karen er fortsatt ikke ute av det stedet, liksom. Han prøver å komme seg ut, liksom. Så liksom, de må jo liksom, hvis de ikke kan papireren, de må jo gjøre det senere. Det er derfor folk er pissed off, liksom. De sier...
Det neste jeg er klar til er Amanda, bror.
Du kan ta på mye items, jeg er snart ferdig. Jeg er snart ferdig, vil mange bare en item til.
Ja, jeg chiller, bror. Skal vi si hvorfor jeg chiller? Se hva jeg skal gjøre mot dem, bror. Se, de løper bakover, bror.
Ja, det er en bitch, bror.
Jeg?
Nei, det kidda, bror. Han hadde brand passive, han bare gikk inn i meg. Det er reportable, visste du? Jeg skal rapporte enda. Jeg skal si check in game he went into me with, og de skal sjekke de senga, da har du gjort faktisk. Ben
No. Skittile. Bro, jeg kastet snøball på han. Han kastet snøball på en annen person. Jeg trakk snøballen, han trakk snøballen sin. Så jeg var i fanten alene.
Hvor min kvadrat? SMS.
Ah, Poppy Playtime, bror. Jeg har ikke skjønt historien fortsatt, bror. Han inne i en factory. Monstrene lever. Og så han prøver å komme seg ut.
Ja, de toys... Og så ja, de sa også... Jeg tror Mark Perry sa det. De sa Chase. Liksom spillet liksom, det var dritkult Chase i eneren. Vi har Chase på toeren og Chase på treeren. Det er bare Chase liksom. Hele spillet. Alle spiller samme Chase. For Chase er bare trial and error. Og jeg gikk feil vei, jeg døde. Ok, la meg retry. Og så nå vet jeg det. Og så dør jeg 15 ganger og folk bare har sett det. Det blir nysgjerrig. Fordi for å greie Chase, så må du liksom dø bare for å ikke vet så.
Har du spilt alle Outlast Trials-spillene?
Jeg har ikke spilt noen.
Du har ikke spilt noen?
Jeg har ikke spilt noen.
Oh.
Jeg har eneren før. Jeg har ikke spilt noen.
Jeg spilte eneren. Jeg startet å spille DLC-en. Jeg turte ikke, altså. Jeg skal ikke ligge engang. Da jeg hadde... Du kan si jeg hadde nightmare, bror.
Jeg spilte starten av eneren. For jeg tror onkelen min ville se.
Spilte også starten når det var shish. Han fikk meg på det, ass.
Natten er lett å spille, jo.
Ja, det er det, ass.
Og jeg fikk den siste... Ja, jeg ble ferdig med beta.
Du også er ferdig? Holy. At last. Hvor er du?
Ikke ta av 4 minutter, vet du hva som kommer?
Hva er det som kommer?
Blade og Kafka Fortnite-skin.
Blade of Kafka Fortnite-skin?
Blade og Kafka. Honkai Star Rail.
Åh! Nei, jeg beklager, jeg spiller Honkai Star Rail lenger, altså.
Kafka, bror. Jeg må kapre meg. Kafka, bror, mommy. Oh my god, holy man.
Hvor er borderen min? Banneren min?
Hvorfor gidder meg ikke banneren min, bror, hva er dette?
Det er det, ja, altså.
Du må gå ut inn igjen, av spillet.
Ja, fuck det, ja.
Det er jo på banner, det skjønner jeg jo.
Skal vi ta Iranian eller vanlig?
Ja, vanlig, mann, jeg sier vi tar vanlig, da.
Jeg sier vi spiller Overwatch, what?
Ja, den får Overwatch.
Jeg sier vi ikke Overwatch, altså.
Klapp igjen, bror. Det er flertall her, bror. Du kan spille League, ja, du kan spille Overwatch, hva sier du? Akkurat hvor jeg tenkte meg det, bror.
Raul spiller Overwatch også, bror.
Ja, han er på.
Siden det er utstending, altså.
Det er ikke utstending, bror. Vet du hva du er? Du forser hele gruppa til å spille det du vil, bror.
Innestenging.
Når flertallet sier noe, du sier nei, det er utestenging. Fuck you, bror. Dere må spille hard, ikke spørre meg, selv om alle vil spille fotball, dere spiller hard med meg, bror. Jeg går til å lære deg utstenging, betyr det. Shut up.
Gutta er gruppeleder, og jeg vil si vi spiller
Carl tror han
liga.
er group leader. Carl tror han er group leader.
Skal vi spille topp, eller? Jeg sier en av dere kommer. Yes, sir. Nei, vi utstenger leiken, ikke da. Men jeg sier du må spille 9 midlaner, altså. Du må expande.
Carl har expander. Han kan ikke spille noen midlaner. Han må lære deg en midlaner først, bror.
Han er ikke på noe, altså.
Carl spiller høy, han kjøper tier, mann. Han sier, jeg trenger Archangel. Han one-shot denne blank, bror. Jeg tenker, du trenger ikke Archangel, bror. Er du dum? Og det ene fighten hadde du hatt Doran's Ring, du hadde drept henne. Du hadde hatt nok mana.
Violence solves everything.
De nerfer Brahmin, som han kinda crazy, altså.
Han er dritsterk, faktisk.
Du carrier win raten og sånt.
Jeg tror det er på grunn av deg, altså, de nerfer den.
Det er det.
Jeg nerfer de biscuits, bror. Jeg vet de har nerfer også Zebeth Botber support.
De nerfer Zero?
Bro,
Jeg visste ikke, jeg så aldri at han var sterk heller, jeg har precis så Zero. Jeg bare, jeg kjenner bare en, bror, det er bare en person som spiller Zero, så hvorfor nerfer de han, bror?
Bro, literally, bro. Eneste zero support på hele serveren, man.
Jeg tror aldri jeg er best Zeros på igjen, bror. Altså.
Kan nerfes. Først de nerfer biscuits.
Og worst Zeros på igjen, bror. Han er eneste med Zeros.
Biscuits.
Ja, biscuit er...
Det var
Det
bra.
var liksom alle ADC bare
Ja,
gikk.
bro, biscuit nerf, du er uncapped i det. De biscuits ble nerf for lenge siden, man.
Det har blitt nerfet dritmange ganger.
Ja, det er det.
Hva var det første den pleide å gi?
Den ga før, den pleide å gi mana også. Og health, max. Den pleide å gi 50 mana. Og så fjernet de mana, og så ga de dem mindre health, og så...
Det kan være også percentage missing mana. Du har percentage missing HP og percentage missing mana.
Fresh og Ash.
Altså, den ga deg 50 liksom, max mana.
Jeg er helt enig, altså, bror.
I agree.
Nei, tror dere de har fiksa det fortsatt? Hvis du kjøper Control Ward.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Jeg har kjøpt noe, bror.
Ja, jeg prøver man.
Minions have spawned.
Hvorfor har din tall og min har bare sånn zero charge?
Rewrite kan ikke kode.
En annen, bro. Nei, det er fortsatt crazy, altså. Det at hvis du kjøper Control Ward, sikkert, tenk du har en knapp som får deg til å gå ut.
Er det sånn quick bind eller noe sånt? Leave call eller noe sånt?
Nei, det er Discord. Discord skrus av og på.
Plocka hans. Er nerfen, hva heter den, released? Eller er det sånn de skal?
På Braum?
Ja.
Det er Ulf.
Ja. Og de patchnotesene du leser, det er alltid on the day one patch.
Hvorfor ikke de to patch notes?
Det er veldig rarely de hotfixer. Jeg husker det var en gang Sona hadde insane stor winrate. Hun hadde sånn 70% winrate eller noe sånt. De måtte actually hotfix nerfe.
Det er sånn game-breaking greier, som den ene Poppy bare drepte alle fra Fountain og sånt.
Ja. Men det var bare liksom, Sona var ikke så veldig game-breaking, det var bare liksom, hun hadde crazy, hun fikk crazy buffs, liksom changes, som bare på flere insane. Så det var at liksom, jeg selv bro, jeg husker jeg climba fra sånn silver 4 til silver 2.
Wow, bror. Silver 4 til silver 2. Wow, bror.
Ja,
Game-breaking. Det var game-breaking.
Men bro, jeg hadde sånn 7 game win streak, bro.
Det var
Ja, det var på sånn...
Det var så game-breaking. Han kom fra silver 4 til silver 2, bror. Så game-breaking var det, bror. De måtte nerfe det.
Jeg var sånn, bro, jeg ville climbe mer. Plutselig jeg åpner neste dag, jeg ser sånn jeg nerfa bare, fuck.
Tror de har fiksa Pantheon sin bug hvor han kunne gå til Fountain med sånn hextech TP?
Jeg visste ikke det var en ting.
Jeg vet ikke, jeg visste ikke at det var en ting.
Bra, jeg husker Spearshot pleide å abuse den.
Det var trash kill i hvert fall, altså. Det var...
Det er 150 mer HP, bror. Crazy.
Og det var faktisk jævlig nice. De var...
Jeg bare poker, ass. Det var det.
Ja, det var jævlig.
Never play fair. I've made my choice.
Everyone mid.
An ally has been slain.
Bye.
I like it.
Okay.
Det er første gang i min hele league-karriere jeg har sett Nikita komme før billigere enn Dams i Drake-fight. Første gang. Det er alltid Dams billigere som kommer før. Enten han kommer ikke i det hele tatt, eller han kommer etter.
Jeg kan ga på den farmen, jeg bare, no shit, jeg får den. Jeg bare sånn, why am I just rotating?
An enemy has been slain.
Oh shit.
Keep friends close.
Og du redder oss.
Has been slain.
De flasher også da. Double flash.
An ally has been slain.
Ja, bra, jeg fikk kill for shuttle. Kom om. Nikita? Ok, bare glem det.
Ja, men hun er full HP med meg. Hvis hun var sånn low, jeg hadde gått med.
To the point. Only fools hesitate. Never play fair. My trial awaits. Next time, run. Strike with vigor. I've made my choice. Try and die.
Oj, oh my god. Gick jag flash? Oh, from me think I've broken. Sen får du rotate everybody hit on.
Ready for trouble? Enemy killing spree.
Hindi ba kanike?
Fuck.
Enemy double kill.
50.
Keep friends close and enemies guessing.
Den traff minion.
Is that fear I see? Grace of a god.
Oh.
An ally has been slain.
Rest in peace.
Ally has been slain.
Ah,
Why? Because I can.
eneste gangen jeg døde er når Briar er det.
Det er ikke noe mer vi kan gjøre.
Intriguing.
Skal prøve å stoppe Vex.
An enemy is unstoppable. Try and die. To the point. Flow with harmony. An enemy has been slain.
I'm missing.
An enemy has been slain.
And I made
Så på det.
Never play fair. Move with chaos.
Ja, vi kan komme, men så har vi fikk dra.
Det var huge.
1 HP!
Let's dance.
Jeg hører Briar ult. Jeg kan ikke hjelpe oss.
Jeg kan da. Jeg kan hjelpe da. Ja. Nei.
Jeg bare farmer tower, altså.
Oh, fucker. Of course er hun her igjen, bror.
Your turret has been destroyed. An ally has been slain.
Holy moly.
Yo boys, guess who's here, man?
Du får
Altså,
en
det-
Se meg
kill.
bli packa
Han skal
out,
dø
man.
100%.
Jeg skal dø 100%
Trash er i
on
busken.
God for real, man.
Ja, du dør. Rest in peace. Young blood. Det var ikke vanskelig å se, ass, bror.
Åh, det er som om du kunne flashe abilities, bror.
Det går bra, bror. Han har en gunblade.
Jeg er så glad at man kan bare pinge de i party, ass.
Ja, hun kommer bot. 100%. De har 100% pre-made alle tre.
Jeg har ikke ulti min. 4 sekunder, shit.
An ally has been slain.
Det går bra, bare gå.
Jeg
De
vinner.
kan drepe deg. De kan drepe deg.
An enemy has been slain.
Men never mind. Never mind.
Gwen er så dårlig der. Han fader mobile, bror.
Enemy killing spree.
Jeg tror ikke du fikk det ult. Jeg tror bare Flash out-ignite hadde drept. Æsj.
Han måtte secure den, ass.
Det er sant, det.
Flow with harmony. An ally has been slain.
Ja, det er bare så cancer å spille. Jeg kan ikke spille der.
Briar kommer, Nikita.
Jeg sier vi jetter, ass. Jeg sier du dør, ass.
An ally has been slain. I like
Jeg vil ikke dø. Jeg vil ikke dø. Nada, nesse disco que cara é de sombra.
It is what it is, man.
keep friends close.
Ai.
Guessing.
Ai.
Why? Because I can. Shut down.
GG got done for me top laner, and that's good. Never mind. Han traff meg derfra. Han er crazy, altså.
Mensch.
Keep it going. Grace of a god. Destroyed. An ally has been slain.
Briar. Nice, nice.
Ikke tower.
My pleasure.
Shut down.
Never play fair. I've made my choice.
Flash'ı meg.
Blood for Noxus!
Hørte du.
Enemy killing spree.
Dobbel ult.
Jeg vet ikke hvorfor Arya vil bare pushe bort.
An ally has been
Priorities.
Den er fortsatt.
Briar har ult også.
has been destroyed. I like it. An enemy has been slain. Your turret has been destroyed.
There.
Enemy
Ikke noe arg og crazy, bro.
Shut down.
Der er han.
Keep friends close and enemies guessing. An ally has been slain. Only fools hesitate. An ally has been slain.
Er det så Trundle gjør Trundle things?
Han shot han i stad. At least.
Has destroyed turret. Enemy killing spree.
Amen. Han gikk fra 0-4 til 3-7.
Ja, han fikk 2 turrets. Okay, ganske huge.
Vi kan ikke ta...
Nei, vi må la dragen.
Because I can.
Combos. Go crazy.
Enemy rampage.
Fikk shutdown goal i hvert fall. Nice.
Jeg misklikket holy moly.
Intriguing.
Fortnite eller Babaji.
Babaji. Fortnite eller Xbox X Series.
Ikke svake seriøs. Hva skjedde med de gutta, bro? Jeg savner dem. De fem lager mange videoer.
Som var en...
Med de der... også fotballspillere, og som da kom til Cristiano Ordado, på hans karen bare sa
Okay.
Holy Ash bare... Brr, brr.
De er alle så low, hvorfor går ikke teamen inn?
Egentlig, Tomil jeg føler er en waste of an item, bror.
Bro, for fucking Briar?
Nei, Abdi, du burde kjøpe Bramble West, og aldri oppgradere den til Torment helt på slutt. For den er så gold inefficient, skjønner? Fordi du vil bare kjøpe den for en til heal. Ikke statsa, liksom. Statsa er ganske mid. Så du kjøper Bramble West, og så til slutt, hvis det er sånn, jeg har ikke noe annet å gjøre enn å...
Full AD. Ja.
Jeg har ikke noe annet enn å...
Problemet er at liksom... Den gir deg mer armor enn HP.
Ja, men statsa, i forhold til andre armor items, er jeg drittmid. Så de bare... Jeg heller kjøpe Frozen Heart, eller de liksom... Statsa er ikke så mye bedre.
Jeg håper den skal grabbe den bra verdt til oss.
What? Hva did de ha?
Jeg vet ikke, Ari...
Var det burnen til... Nei, det var Arv. Det var ulten hennes.
Nei, Ari har 2 burn. Leandris og Blackburn.
Ari, Mika.
For jeg prøvde å komme med W deg. Jeg døde før jeg kunne hoppe inn. El Nikita, bro, han er så svak.
Just det var det verste ting du kunne gjort.
Han er stønnet han, bror. Og så hittet jeg han.
Du stønnet han, og du hittet han,
Og jeg fikk skatt over Cora.
Enemy killing spree.
Ja, hvis Abdi fikk den, det var worst, skulle du komme med det.
Jeg er sikker på at jeg stoppet Briar-uten også.
Ok, gutta. Jeg kommer hit. Det er som jeg var malfighting og sånt, og det hadde vært crazy. Anytime now, Abdi, du må engage oss.
Nei. Ser du hva som skjedde med en gang du sa anytime now? Ser du at vi ikke trengte å engage?
Bare glem det, gutt. Bare glem det.
Ikke skyld på alt fordi du ble hittet til
Hvis Nikita, hvis du holder tab, ikke sant? Ser du at du har 2 items, og dems andre midlene har 3 items.
Ja, hva vil du gi opp inhibitor for det?
Ja, men vi trengte å bare cleare våre jurer. Ja, mer enn det.
Actually, true. Commendable. Men jeg klikker tab, og jeg ser du har 0-2, ass. Jeg mener 0-12.
Og vet du hvor mange assist har jeg? 13, bror.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
Du slipper kun av død.
Wow, fuck you, bror.
Eller rull, bror.
Jeg skal prøve å overfølge dragen. Dette her er litt greedy. Men Briar er...
Ikke død da, fordi du er alene. Åh, vent da, alle har tatt ned. Du kan, det er free.
Leser. Da vi er så...
De er på vei nå til dragen. Nikita stopper Darius, copy.
Darius for hva da?
Pull den ut, pull den ut. Oi.
Han har blitt hittet CC-en. Han kan til boss. Han har flash.
Nei, det der bare skyld på ingen der, altså. Det er bare...
Egentlig så vi fikk dragen, men vi taper spill.
Jeg vil bare få det overstått, altså.
Your turret has been destroyed. Aced. An ally has been slain.
De venter på deg, Nikita. Å nei, de venter på meg, bro.
Ja, jeg får finne deg.
No.
Men det er så gå crazy. Det er så gå crazy, det er så gå crazy.
Ja, gutta, jeg gikk crazy.
Jeg tror han dreper deg, altså. Kaboom! Slam dunk. GG's.
GG's.
Jeg kan gjøre en siste, for jeg må spise så før og sove. Altså, bror.
Jeg spiser klokka 2 om morgenen. Blir det du sa?
Jeg skal bare spise.
Er det ikke lov, eller?
Var litt crazy, ass. Litt crazy.
Jeg skal ikke spise resten av dagen, ikke sant?
Hva stemmer ikke her? Hva er det her, bror?
This!
Jeg pleier å våkne rett før klokka 5 cirka.
Jeg klarer ikke, altså, bror, hvis jeg sover en gang. No.
Noen ganger jeg pleier å være våken, noen ganger jeg pleier å bare våkne. Jeg tror bytter blir våkner, så hun vekker meg. Til å gå opp og spise bitches.
Jeg har vann rett ved siden av meg. Hver gang jeg sier ok, jeg skal våkne. Jeg drikker vann og så legger meg igjen, bror. Eller vet du hva, gutta? Jeg tror jeg kaller det day her, altså.
Nå.
Jeg kan joine i morgen da, tidlig.
Det med ligen min, jeg kan ikke der, ja. Kom en A-ramp, da.
Ok, la meg komme tilbake. Bare for det.
Og du gikk ut? Ja, det går bra, bror.
Han skal gå inn, han skal få banneren.
Men du kommer tilbake, da?
Da chattes vi,
Du skal
gutta.
komme tilbake, du skal få banneren.
Ta vare.
Snakkes.
Snakkes da.
God natt, bror. Jeg også spiser også fast der.
I see how it is, I see how it is.
God natt også.
God natt, god natt.
Jeg skal spise, ha alarm klokka 5, våkne klokka 5, spise, og så er det faste. Helt til, ja, vi faster. It is what it is.
Det er det, altså.
God natt, bror.
God natt.
Rise and that change in your chest and watch yourself attach a story, a narrative to that feeling and run away with it in your head, right? It could be about anything. It could be about being a disappointment to your parents, about why doesn't that person like me, or oh, they betrayed, like whatever the narrative is that you're attaching to these feelings, just reverse engineer them and see where they're coming from. Are they coming from a fabricated rule set from society, or is it even something that you need to concern yourself with? I don't know. Just trying to unwire a lot of that unconscious programming that we have that just simply makes things a little bit harder for us. That's all I'm trying to do, is just spread a little bit of awareness so that we can respond rather than just react to the life that's happening around us. So
Hey guys, good morning, good morning. Wanted to make this quick video before I pulled out of the garage and headed to work this morning. Got a sad story I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it's about mental health, guys. Last week, a driver unalived himself at work in front of my tire care general manager. Guys, let me first start off by saying, in case this video hits the wrong audience, please do not subscribe to my channel. This is not my normal content. My channel is about money, finances, debt, investing, things of that nature, my normal content. So if this hit the wrong audience, please do not subscribe to my channel. I would advise you to go watch some of my past content, then decide if you want to subscribe. Don't want anybody to subscribe to the channel from this video, in case it hits the wrong audience, unless you go and watch some of my past videos. And guys, if you hear me sniffing or coughing a little bit, I'm getting over a head cold. Just want to throw that out there. But I want to tell you guys the story real quick. So this actually happened last week, guys. A driver unalived himself in our truck parking lot, right? You guys know I work for a travel center. We have 120 parking spaces, right, guys? So the gentleman was a Caucasian male in his mid-50s that we later found out his age. He was parked overnight. The information we got, he had parked overnight. This happened last week. I wanted to make this video earlier, but I want everything to die down first. He parked in our truck parking lot last week, overnight, to rest. Got up the next morning. It was about 7 a.m. He called 911 for emergency medical help. When the ambulance arrived first, because he said it was a medical emergency. Ambulance arrived first. When the ambulance arrived, he stepped out of the truck, gun in hand, told them to stand back, don't come any closer. And as they were trying to talk him down, the ambulance drivers, my tire care manager, this was happening right in front of our tire care repair center. So our tire care general manager saw what was going on, and he was talking with a couple customers that had trucks under repair, and he went out with a couple personnel, and like I said, the ambulance personnel was trying to talk him down. And basically, from what I heard, the driver basically was saying, you know, I'm done. I can't take life anymore. A lot of shit going on. I'm just done with life. And he shot himself right in front of the ambulance, paramedics, and in front of my tire care general manager. And it's almost like, guys, he wanted a witness because, or he wanted next of kin to get contacted immediately because he was an over-the-road truck driver, which meant he drives across the country. And so we got the name of the truck, the number from the truck, DOT numbers and all that stuff. Called the company. The company immediately told us who it was after we called 911. You know, the detectives and police, you know, doing their due diligence. And they called his company. The company contacted his daughter. It's the next emergency kin. And then they were in contact with the daughter. From what they understand, the daughter said she didn't know anything was going on in the gentleman's life. She didn't know why he would do this. Because, guys, let's be honest. If he had taken himself out in his semi, there's no telling when we would have found him. Because we have 120 semi-truck spots, right? The guy's parked for rest overnight. There's 120 spots. The only way we would have found him, if he had not called for a medical emergency and he just deleted himself, that was the last spot that his company would have known he was at, and they probably would have called us, gave us his truck number, license plate number, and of course their company name would be on the truck, and we could have went out and just to see, and would have been able to see if we saw his truck in the parking lot. Because that actually happened to me 5 years ago. I had a driver had a heart attack in his truck in the summertime, and I found him. No, probably about 6 years ago, and I actually found him in the truck, slumped over the steering wheel. He was there for 2 days before we knew he was there. Had a heart attack in his truck. He was sitting there for 2 days in 90-degree weather inside the cab of his truck. So guys, the point of this, I'm gonna let you guys know this, is that we don't know what people are going through these days. We have no clue, no idea. Always be kind to people. Try to be kind to people. You know, I've heard drivers come in and they'll pull me to the side and just say, you know what, coming to our travel stop and just people saying hi or welcome to blah, 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 you know, made their day because they was angry on the road all day, no one to talk to. Just be kind to people, guys. I'm making a point to be kind to people. You never know what people are going through. And the next point I want to make is that us as individuals, guys, if we're going through things in our lives, seek help. Seek mental help. Please do. I go to mental health therapy once a month, and it helps me, guys. It helps me unload. I'm already in a stressful profession, and I started going back when I was going through my divorce. I used to go in the past. Then once I started going through my divorce, all the fighting, going back and forth, fighting over money and material items and all of this shit, it got to me, guys. I had to take a month off work when I was going through my divorce. And I've kept faithfully going since my divorce. I initiated my divorce in July 2022. I'm still going to therapy once a month because it helps me. It helps me stay grounded. It helps my mental. Being able to go and talk to somebody about things I'm going through in my life. And guys, as y'all know, I don't have any money issues, but there's still things that I go through in my life. Like I said, I got a stressful job. You know, I want to continue to work on myself, be a good person. I want to continue to be a good father. I'm a grandfather now. I want to be a good grandfather. I just want to be a good human being. You know, going through therapy helps me with this. Sometimes as men, we don't want to admit that I need to go to therapy and get some mental help. Guys, do it. Women, do it. Get help if you're going through shit. Get help. It helps. Please get help. It helps. It really does help keep you grounded mentally. So guys, have a great day. Just want to tell you guys about this real quick. Have a great day, guys. Y'all better hold on to that damn job that you hate so damn bad. Guys, jobs are disappearing. So if you got a job, you better be thankful for your job, better be grateful for your job, that you can pay your bills and survive. Because hundreds of thousands, millions of people wish they had a job. Guys, first real quick, I want to give a shout out to Larry at the No Regret Show. I was listening to Larry this morning on a members video that he posted this morning. He gave me an awesome shout out. Larry gave me an awesome shout out. I appreciate you, Larry. Keep doing your thing, buddy. I rocks with Larry. I'm gonna give another shout out. Fritz Gabriel. I was listening to him this morning on my way to work. Fritz again gave me an awesome shout out. I appreciate the love that I'm getting from other creators in this YouTube space. And last shout out, Shields Media. We actually talked on the phone this past weekend. Shields Media, the gentleman that runs Shields Media, is an awesome young man. Reminds me of my son. Fritz and Shields Media, they're right around the same age as my son, as my oldest son in the early 30s. Young men, positive young men with families, just living positive lives as fathers and husbands. You know, I just got to give them a shout out because, you know, they're doing it on the positive side. That they're not with this nonsense. Good, positive young men, and I just want to shout them out. But yeah, guys, if you got a job, you better appreciate that damn job, man. I'm telling you. Millions of individuals are out of a job. Last year, there was over 1 million job cuts. In January 2026, over 110,000 jobs were lost. So if you got a job, be thankful for that job. I'm thankful for my job, guys. I'm thankful for my job. I got nothing bad to say about my employer. Nothing bad. See, that's why if anybody, I got some of my employees, some of my peers that run other travel stops are on my channel. That's why I don't care if they listen to my channel. I don't speak ill of my job. Are we perfect? Is my employer perfect? No. Are there things that they could improve on? Yes. But I'm thankful for my employer because my employer gives me stability. My employer is allowing me to take the money that they pay me and build my personal wealth. They treat me good. I pretty much can come and go as I please. Guys, I've been writing, I'm 53 years old. I've been writing my own schedule since I was 22 years old, writing my own schedule. I work 9 to 10 hours a day. I'm on salary. I work 9 to 10 hours a day. If I got things going on, I can leave, come back. I can work a short day, a longer day. You know, I got gobs and gobs of vacation time, sick time, personal time. You know, I can't complain about my job. No one, and I won't let anybody else complain about my employer. It's like, you don't know my employer. My employer takes care of me. My employer treats me good. That's why I don't mind other people listening to my channel that work in my company, because no one can go back and say, Frank, I'm talking crap about the job. Nope, you'll be a lie. Anybody can go on my videos and say, you will be a lie. I don't talk ill will about my employer, because I know, my employer is a good employer. They treat us good. You know, they take care of us. They pay us well. Our benefits are off the chain. You know, I'm grateful for my job. I would tell anybody, I'm grateful for my job. I don't have, like, anything could happen, but I don't fear being laid off. I don't fear being fired. I know I'm results oriented anyway, so I know I'm competitive like that. I'm going to come in every single day, and I'm going to work my ass off to perform, because I want to be the top travel stop in every metric. You know, but man, y'all better be grateful for these damn jobs if you got one. Stop hating your job if you got a job. Stop hating it. Stop talking shit about your job. And just be grateful. I'm grateful for mine. I'm able to live the life that I live because of my employer. You know, and a lot of times I hear people talking shit about their job, this and their job. But I'm gonna tell you, a lot of that comes from financial decisions that individuals make. For one, I've said it before, your job didn't tell you to go into debt. Your job didn't tell you to go buy a car you can afford. Your job didn't tell you to go buy too much house. Your job didn't tell you to run up credit card debt. Your job didn't tell you to make these decisions. You make those damn decisions. Own up to them. You make those decisions. Your job ain't got nothing to do with that. You make those horrible financial decisions, you know? But I think for a lot of times, we don't appreciate having good jobs. Because like I tell you guys, there's a lot of jobs out there that are crappy, don't pay well. But when we land a job that pays well, has great benefits, 401k, vacation time, sick time, personal time, people need to be grateful for those type of jobs and not be dissing those jobs. Because what you don't appreciate, someone will happily take it and appreciate it. They're just facts, guys. They're just facts. I know I am in a very, very great position. That's why I know it's going to be hard to walk away when I want to walk away, because I'm in a great position. You know, haven't had a super stressful day in probably 2 or 3 months. You know, everything is, but we're going through our slow season also, because, you know, it's winter time here in Indiana, going through our slow season. But man, you know, I'm grateful for what I do, man. You know, when I first applied to my employer, I didn't get hired. I think it was meant for me to be here, because when I first applied, I got no call back, nothing. Then about 6 months later, I saw they were hiring general managers again. I applied, they called me the next damn day, and I've been here for 15 years. So I think it was actually in the plans for me to be here. I think it was in the plans for me to be here. First time I applied, nothing, crickets. Second time I applied, 6 months later, they called me the next day, and I've been here ever since. Been here ever since. You know, I love what I do. You know, I get to develop other managers. You know, I get to develop, like, there's like 3 or 4 managers that I develop from crew members, right? And they make more money than they've ever made in their lives. Make more money than they've ever made in their lives, because I took them under my wing to develop them. You know, honed in their people skills. You know, honed in their management skills. You know, took them under my wing. You know, gave them books to read. You know, and just basically groomed them into, you know, being good managers. And these individuals are making more money now than they ever made previously in their lives. At that point in time, they were just like bouncing from job to job to job to job, not making a whole bunch of money. But I saw something in these individuals. You know, right now, if I think about it, when I think about the managers that I developed from crew members, it's probably about 6 of them that's with the company right now that I developed from crew members. And these people are making more money than ever made in their lives. You know, because I saw something in them, took them under my wing, and developed these individuals. So yeah, guys, if you got a job, be grateful for your job, because last year over 1 million individuals lost jobs. So yeah, I just wanted to throw this on, make this quick video, guys. Yeah, again, shout out to Larry, No Regret Show. Shout out to Fritz, Gabriel. Shout out to Shields Media. You know,
Some people say the richest place you will ever find is the grave. Not because there are a bunch of rich and famous people there, but because there are things there that, well, will never be said. You know, people had dreams that will never be pursued. People had things inside of their chest, inside of their eyes, inside their minds that they never got to express. But why? Because they were afraid, because they didn't want to take a risk, because they didn't want to take a chance. You know, I want to tell you guys right now, this is some good news if you wish you were dead. Eventually, one day you will be. You know? My entire life, from a very, very young age, I've always wanted to die. My entire life, I've always wanted to die. I never wanted to be here. You know, I was never, also I apologize for the bad lighting. I never chose to be here. You know, I never chose to be born, at least not in my eyes, but I still try my best every single day. You know, and a wise man once said, if you can't do what you want to do, you do what you can, you know? And it's not about if things go the right way or if everything works out or if everything is absolutely perfect, because most things in life are not. You know, most things are messy. Most things are uncertain. Most things are weird, you know, kind of like your life. You know, when you start to realize that all of this is temporary, and that after you die, it's all eternity. After you die, it's forever. So why would you wait now? You know, and you try to go back to when you were a kid and you try to put on those childhood shoes, but they no longer fit. And it sucks, and everything is horrible, and everything is so bad. And I personally, I know how it feels to wake up in the morning and not want to do shit. I know how it feels to want to sleep the entire day away. I know how it feels to want to grab a bottle of pills or grab your bong or reach for the alcohol bottle or grab the nicotine device. Like, I know how that feels. I have been there more times than I would like to admit, and perhaps sometimes I still find myself inside of that spot. Okay, but the truth is, you're here. Okay, you are literally the impossible made possible. Okay, yeah. Yeah, my mom had me at a young age. Yeah, she wasn't supposed to have me when she had me, but she did. That is the whole point of life, everybody. It wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. It actually happened, you know, for some odd reason. Even if you feel like it's not going to work, even if you feel like you're pursuing something and it's not going anywhere, you do it for a simple reason, okay? Some people create wanting money. Some people create wanting fame. Some people create wanting to have sex with the girls. Some people want to have sex with the hot guys, hot girls. They do it for the wrong reasons. You know, it's very, very rare to find a person that is doing something inside of their life for one specific reason, because they want to. You know, life is all about doing and not doing. Okay, if you could find the correct combination of doing and not doing, you will moderate yourself in a very, very good way. Sometimes you need to be bored. Sometimes you need to do nothing. Not in a sense of not being productive every single day, but sometimes you need rest without guilt. Sometimes you need to indulge without guilt. Sometimes you need to not hesitate. You know, hesitation is a human trait. Being broken is a human trait. You know, the saying, it doesn't get better and it doesn't get easier, in a sense is true. It doesn't get better and it doesn't get easier. You make it better and you make it easier. Okay, you could either look at the glass half empty or half full. Okay, this water bottle is nowhere near half empty or half full, but you get the concept. Okay, or you could walk away from the cup entirely. Okay, the whole point is that you could live your life whatever way you would like to live your life. Okay, if you want to jerk off and waste away your life for the rest of your life, you could do that. No one is stopping you. If you just want to exist and be a cat and just sleep, whatever, sure. Yes, I'm not going to say your parents or the people around you that care about you. You're not going to say, hey, maybe you should make some money, get a job, do something that you actually care about. Because it's not about the fact of materialistic things, man. If everybody woke up with $100 million in their bank, everybody would be broke. Because $1 million does not mean anything to people if everyone has it. That's the reason why it matters, dude. That's the reason why things are important. That's why it's rare. That's why love is rare. That's why diamonds are rare, because it's a certain amount. If everybody has something, then it's no longer rare. It's no longer scarce. That's why so many people want love. So many people want to get married. They want to enjoy their lives. You know what I mean? Deep down, every single human being has that desire to create. Whether that is making a person or making an idea come to reality. Me, 2 years ago, I made a channel because I had an idea that my words, my thoughts, my ability to speak somehow mattered. And I never thought it did. And then I took a chance. I took a risk. The same way that you should take your chance. The same way that you should take your risk. Whatever it is you are thinking about outside of your life. Because one day you will realize that when you get older, that everybody dies, but not everybody lives. At the end of your life, you're not going to regret the things you did. You're going to regret the things you did not do. You're going to regret that when you were 17 years old and you finally had that one girl behind the bleachers and you didn't kiss her. Instead, you said that you were too cold and you needed to go inside and you walked away and you didn't do it. Or when you were 20, 19 years old, you had that chance, you know, you were doing good at something, you were really, really there, and then you self-sabotage yourself and you went down a path because you didn't believe in yourself enough. And I want to tell you guys something right now. If you're seeing this video, if you're watching my channel, if you're anything of me, if you're just here watching this right now, that is because I, Matthew, did not give up. Because I did not surrender to the absurdity of the world around me. That is why I'm still here. That is why I'm still breathing. You know, the paradox of everything is unimportant and everything is important is I don't care about things, but I care enough to make a video about it. And that's the paradox, is that I don't feel like, but like that's why YouTube is so amazing for me, because it is simply just me and what I already do. I already have these conversations with myself in my head. I already talk about this shit all the time. I'm just simply expressing it to the world. And the fact that some people, anybody, can resonate with it or have it mean something to them means everything to me. I made this channel on a limb, on a fucking limb. I had no idea what was going to happen. The same way that no one has any idea of what is going to happen. You are a piece of sand on a beach of beaches of beaches of beaches of beaches. You are on a floating rock in the middle of infinite galaxies and space and planets inside those planets and shit inside of that shit. And for some reason, you're aware. And for some odd reason, that in itself is amazing. That you are here. You literally combat existence. You are life itself. You are the universe experiencing itself through a certain lens, a certain profile. Nobody will ever, has ever, or will, like I just said, will ever or has ever went through the exact shit that you have went through inside of your life. Nobody has thought the same thoughts that you have battled. No one has been through the same exact shit that you have been through. So you are a unique individual. Do not die a copy of somebody else. Do not go out there thinking that you need to be something that you are not. You are weird, you are strange, you are odd, you're an oddball, you're fucked up. Okay, everybody is. Stop trying so hard to change. Stop trying so hard to prove yourself. Instead, focus on improving yourself. Okay? Because it's true. A cracked egg cannot be uncracked. But it does not mean that you cannot cook with that said egg. Okay? So the same way that you trust that the universe will give you another breath when you exhale, you will trust that the universe will give you everything that you need. You will take it day by day. You will trust that everything will work out for you. So some good news if you wish that you were dead, my friend. One day you will be. One day all of this will come to a complete stop. You know? And with that, the world around you will come to a close. Not because there's no longer sunrises and sunsets or the people around, but because things happen. And if you've ever been in a spot where you've wanted to take your own life or you've wanted to go away, I completely understand. Because how could you not? How could you not sometimes think the world is fucked up? The world is absurd. It's uncertain. It's not a math problem. It's not contained. It's impossible to know what's going to happen. So you do. You create in the void to prove that you were here in the first place. Because every single action that you take, every single thing that you do is a combatance against the void. A combatance that you were never here. Because eventually one day, in 2,000, 3,000, maybe even a couple hundred years from now, someone will finally have their last thought of you. And I wonder if anybody right now will live their life differently if they would have known that they will be thought of for the last time at some point, that someday, somewhere, I and you will be thought of for the very last time. And that's a fucked up thought, a weird thought, but an amazing thought at the same time, because that's what life is about. Freedom. Getting out there and doing what you want to do. So yeah, there is some good news if you wish you were dead. One day you will be. So until you are, live. Live, goddammit. Because I've wanted to die for so long, I decided, what if I live? I love each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I also apologize for getting emotional, but death is a very sensitive topic for me. And maybe it's because I'm so young, but I think about it a lot. And I'm not suicidal or anything. I would never do that to myself, especially since recently I figured out that I don't have some kind of inherited darkness passed down to me from my father. I just am introspective. That's all. And perhaps you are too. So realize that you're not alone. You know, you're not the only person that thinks deeply. You know, you just had some fucked up shit happen to you, and you know, everybody, you're not just your sad story. You are alive. You're here. And you have a chance to do anything you want to do. Stay positive and enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening. But most importantly, stay positive.
Hey. I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. Well, doing YouTube. My first video I ever posted was 10 years ago. That's a long freaking time, dude. That's a long time. I've been doing YouTube. I keep doing that because I never post, okay? I'm gonna just break the ice right now. I never post. I've posted probably in the last decade, which is insane to say. I've posted probably close to, maybe a little over 100, close to 200 videos, which is not anything at all. But yeah, it's been a decade since my first video. I've been doing YouTube longer than I haven't been, which is just wild. And just to rip off the Band-Aid, I've gone nowhere with it at all. And yeah, I don't know. You know, when I was a kid and I started, like, ever since I started, anyone asks me, what's your dream job? What do you want to do when you grow up? I'd always say, I want to be a YouTuber. And I know that's ridiculous. And when you're 9 years old, like, that's realistic. And people are like, oh, like, you know, it's so funny and whatever. They don't think too much of it. And then as you get older, people are like, yo, what is this guy talking about? And now, especially 19 years old, people, when you say that to them, they're like, okay. Anyways, and then they move on. Or they tell you that it's unrealistic and whatnot. And to be honest, it is. I mean, like I said, I've been doing it for 10 years. And I have, at the time of recording this, like 160 something subscribers. It's the most I've ever had. Extremely grateful for it, considering the lack of effort that I put into this. But I don't know. It's just crazy to think about. 10 years is a long time. It's a really, really, really long time. Especially for me, because I've only lived for 19 years, so that's more than half of my life. And to say that you've done something for 10 years and you've gone nowhere with it is just extremely humbling, to say the least. It really puts into perspective of how much discipline matters, how much consistency actually means something. You know what I mean? You can't just post something, or regardless of YouTube, you can't just do something one time or get really passionate about something and be on fire for it for a little bit and then just, like, you know, grind out for like a week or two, maybe even a month or two, and then just stop for like ever. The longest break I went during these 10 years was 2 years of not posting a single thing. You're not gonna get anything done in that, like, doing that. If you want to succeed at something, you have to try. And as Christians, we're called to do that. Hebrews 12:11 was the verse of the day the other day, and forgive me as I flip to it, but it was the verse of the day, I think, yesterday, and it's about discipline. And as this was coming up, because I remembered it, I was, you know, ironically, I had a whole thing planned. I had a whole cinematic thing that I wanted to do with, like, a slideshow of all the videos I've ever posted with some music in the background, make it all emotional, show me growing up, because you can watch me grow up on this app. Watching me grow up on it and just summing it up and making it nice and sweet, but I pushed it back because I have no discipline. And that, I think, honestly, I think that perfectly sums up the problem that not only I have with YouTube, but that we have as Christians, is that we say a lot of things and we say, oh, I'm going to do this, like, I'm going to read my Bible more, or I'm going to talk about Jesus more and spread my faith more, or I'm going to invite this person to church, or I'm going to stop struggling with this sin and stop doing this, that, and the third, and then we don't do it. And that's just like, I mean, you can say as much as you want that you're going to do something, but if you don't try and put the effort into it every single day, it's never going to happen, no matter what it is. But Hebrews 12:11 is, no discipline seems pleasing at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and of peace for those who have been trained by it. Now, what does that mean? That means that discipline sucks. For lack of a better word, it sucks. Discipline stinks. It's poopy. It's not fun. A lot of the time, you're going to get up in the morning and you're not going to want to go on that run. You're not going to want to read the Bible. You're not going to want to do whatever you got to do in the morning. You're going to sleep. You're going to want to put snooze on that alarm that you set when you were late at night and you were thinking, you know what, I'm going to lock in tomorrow and I'm going to go to bed right now, and then I'm going to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to read my Bible, I'm going to go on a run, I'm going to get back home, shower, eat breakfast, and go to work. And then you wake up at 4 o'clock and you hit snooze and you wake up right before you got to leave the door and you end up rushing and then you go to work. And you're back in the same loop as before. Or you make these fitness goals for yourself, of I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get super jacked, and then you go for a week or 2 weeks and then you stop. Or you go to the gym, but your diet isn't on there, and so you're not progressing at all, and you just feel terrible about yourself, and then you quit. Or a job. You want this career, like me with YouTube. You want this so bad. You tell everybody it's your dream, but you don't strive for it. Now listen, if something is your dream, if you love doing something, do it. Try. Put the work in when you don't want to put the work in. Go the extra mile. Don't just do what you need to do and then stop. Do the bare minimum. That's not how you progress in life. That's how you stay in the same bubble that everybody else is, and then you never get past any of that. If you want to be great in life, you have to do the things that are hard. And as Christians, we are called to do that. We are called to spread the gospel in times where everybody around you is so far away from him and mocks Jesus. Where they look at you and they spit on you. I was watching a video about this guy who was talking about how he knew somebody that every single day he would go to, he would be walking down the street going to work or something, and there was this shop owner who would walk outside, and every single day he saw him, he knew he was a Christian, and he would spit on him in the face. Every day. And one day that man wasn't outside, and the Christian went up to that guy's store, because in that area at that time period, people that own those kind of stores, they lived in like a upper floor inside of that same building. He went to that person's store, knocked on the door, and his wife answered. And he said, hey, where's my friend? Is he okay today? She was like, oh, I don't want anything. She knew who he was. I don't want anything. I don't want any trouble. I don't want any trouble. He's like, no, I mean no trouble. I want to know if my friend is okay. That's the kind of love that we need, is when someone spits us in the face, spits on our face. We look at them, we call them a friend. And you know why? That's because we do that because Jesus did that to us. He did that for us. You know how many times I've spat into Jesus' face? How many times you've spat into Jesus' face? And then he hugs you and says it's okay and forgives you when you say you're sorry? We are called to do the hard things. We are called to be disciplined. And I'm a walking example of what happens when you're not. When you're not disciplined, you go nowhere. 10 years. 10 years making videos. And I've gone nowhere. That's what happens. My dad used to say something to me when I was a little kid. And at the time, in the context he was saying it, I didn't agree with it. But now that I'm older, I understand what he's saying. And that's, you get what you give. And that can be misconstrued. You don't want to treat others the way that they treat you. That's what we were just talking about. You want to treat everybody with love. But when you say you get what you give, that means if you don't put effort into something, you're not going to get anything back. If you don't spend the time, you don't spend the work, you don't do the thing that you need to do to get the result, you're not going to get the result. It's just not going to happen. It's 1 + 1 = 2. If you don't have 1 + 1, you don't get 2. It doesn't just show up in your hands. You got to do it. My prayer is that whoever's watching this will see this, and even if it's just me, that I will see this, that you will see this. And even though it's not a super serious thing, like it's just me, I've been posting videos on the internet for 10 years inconsistently, and it's got me nowhere because I've been inconsistent. I get that that's trivial, but it's a good demonstration of whatever you have in your life that you're not disciplined in, but you're wanting to see a rapid change. You're wanting to see something just change in your life. And sometimes Jesus will deliver us from things. Sometimes he'll just grab us and he'll pull us out of something without us even having to move. But sometimes, more often than not, he'll keep us there. It's not because he doesn't love us. It's because if you put your trust in him, things will get better. And I know that sounds like I'm going off topic a little bit, but that's a discipline. Putting your trust in him in times where you would rather do your own thing, where you would rather go do the thing that you're struggling with, that you want to stop doing, that's discipline. It takes discipline to humble yourself and choose his ways above your own. It's hard. It's really hard. And no one's perfect. But think about it. When Paul says this, Paul talks about this in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. He says that he has this thorn in his flesh. He says that he prays to God to deliver him from this sin struggle, or from whatever this thorn is, to take it away from him. And he doesn't. God keeps it. And the reason he does that is because it keeps him reliant on God. Think about it. This thing that you're struggling with in life, or this goal that you're reaching that you can't do it by yourself. You keep trying, and you keep trying to get rid of this thing, or you keep trying to build your way towards this thing, and you just can't do it. If God gave you that right now like that, would you keep going to him? And that's why you still have that thorn. That's why. Is because if you try to do it on your own, it's never going to go away. And if it was gone, you wouldn't have to rely on Christ. But because it's there, and because you can't do it by yourself, you have to rely on him. You have to be disciplined in reading your word, in praying, in fasting, in looking towards him in every single way of your life. It takes discipline. Be disciplined. I know I need to be disciplined. And if I want to ever do anything with this, I need to be more disciplined. Because I haven't been, ever. And, I mean, that's what happens when you're not disciplined. You don't get anywhere. But yeah, that's it. 10 years. down the drain. No, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm done. I'm not done. Hopefully, I'll be more disciplined. But no, I've been feeling the call to ministry, and I really feel like this is a great way that I can start that, is just by practicing, by just propping up the camera and just talking to it and just talking about the Lord, talking about the Word and just things I've been reading or things that have been put on my heart. And this next series that I want to do, which I know the last one, we don't talk about the last one, the Proverbs series, it didn't work out. We don't need to talk about it. It wasn't this, but okay. New year, new me. No, I'm kidding. But I want to talk about the fruits of the Spirit, and how to, like, what they are and how to live with them, how to, like, what's the word, enact them, or how to do them, or that doesn't make sense, but how to live in the fruits of the Spirit, how to practice them rather. I've been really feeling called to do that for a while now, and I think it's time that I finally pull the trigger on that and just go ahead and start doing it. But I mean, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for 10 years. And yeah, I'll see you next time. See you.
Hey, Happy New Year. It is currently Wednesday on December 31st, the last day of the year, at 4:17 in the afternoon, although the sun's about setting now here in Toronto, Canada. But this will come out the next day, on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2026. So for me, the last day of the year, and for you already, the new year has started. I'm going to celebrate with this Ruffles all-dressing bag of chips. I think this is one of the best North American chips, better than Doritos, better than normal Lay's potato chips, which is another popular brand. Although it is by the same Frito-Lay company that makes Lay's and Doritos, so they're all made by the same company. Vinegar smell. So it's already been a year since I've made my Goodbye 2024 video, and talking about how good that year was for me. I met up with my German friend Niels. I went to visit him in Germany, and back in 2024, I went to Korea to visit my dad. Back in 2024, I got monetized on my YouTube channel. Back in 2024, that video was titled "I'm 34 and unemployed, but the happiest ever." And it's end of 2025. I am no longer fully unemployed. I'm doing some part-time gigs, like teaching Korean. Just had a lesson this morning, teaching Korean a couple hours a week, and part-time gig filming and editing YouTube videos for a chef and her YouTube channel. So that's new, and that's very recent, actually, within the last couple months of this year, 2025. So that's changed, that I started getting some bit of income, so that's good. I also, this year, worked on election day for one day on April, after one full day of training, and the training did not prepare me for what was to come when I was the lead central polling supervisor for the Canadian election. That was high stress, just making sure everything was running smoothly, and it was a blind leading the blind, because like when people didn't know what to do, I was like, look at the manual, and they were confused, and I was pointing them out to what the process they had to follow, or if we couldn't find it in the manual, then I had to, or if somebody screwed up, then I had to report and document all the screw-ups, and we had to fix that in the later part of the day. So I don't know if I ever want to do that again, working as on election day in Canada. That was a really stressful part-time job. Well, it was full-time for one day. It was like a 14-hour day. No, it was more. It was like a 16-hour day from 7 a.m. all the way till like 11 or midnight. So, and then this year I also went to my Niels, the German friend whom I visited in 2024, came to visit me here in Toronto. So that was cool. We hung out for a whole month in August, and we also went to Vancouver together to visit my friend Lewis, another YouTuber who is the most successful YouTuber that I personally know. Actually, I think I know a person with I think the most successful YouTuber in terms of subscriber count, in terms of the number of views he gets on his channel for video essays on various obscure Asian topics. So we call it the Tube, crashing at a tiny little place with Lewis and Niels, sleeping on the floor one night for me. We took turns.
We are the Tubists, living in the tube. This is as big as the tube gets.
Yeah, that was fun. Vancouver was fun, seeing Gabby there too, another YouTuber.
Like, different stuff that stood out. I really like the chase scene. Well, there were some few chase scenes in that movie, but I really like the chase scene with that has like that electronic soundtrack. I liked it a lot, dude. I remember when I came here, it used to be like full of people. Now there's like nowhere, nobody. It feels really relaxing walking here like this. I'm not gonna even lie. It's a great experience. Being alone by yourself. Sometimes that's what makes my mind refresh myself. Continuing on with Weathering with You movie. I also saw, I was really hyped when I saw the crossover characters, like from Your Name to Weathering with You. You had like this sort of Easter egg, I would say, where like you got the main two protagonists of Your Name into the Weathering with You movie. And that was a really nice take. Because I looked at my friend to the left seat of me and we were like both smiling together, and he's like asking like, is that him? And I'm like, yes, that must be him. Like, there's no way they did that on accident, you know? Like, it's a plan. It was 100% plan for him to look like that. After the movie had like this very heartwarming moment. What seemed like it's gonna be like end there, but instead they did with a time skip. And when they did a time skip, I didn't know how long the movie was, so I was thinking like, wait, if they did a time skip, this isn't over. Is this gonna be like a 2-hour movie? And then in the end, I was sort of wrong. It wasn't a 2-hour movie because I thought they were gonna drag on the story for a little bit longer because they had a time skip in it. Because they were just like, it was building up like the tension of like, wait, what's gonna happen to the city? There's like so much water, it's all flooded. And I'm like thinking, well, maybe we'll find out, you know, if this is gonna be a 2-hour movie, maybe they have some sort of way for it, you know. But they didn't have that. It sort of ended with him like finding her back again. I was a bit worried on the time skip because I was really like emotionally affected and I didn't really understand what the hell was going on. I didn't quite catch up the point of the time skip, and so I was kind of like left wondering like, what was it for? But reflecting on it right now, I think it was more for like to release the tension, because you had like this very, very hard emotional moment basically in the almost the ending of the movie, and so you're basically doing a time skip to sort of release the tension and make it sort of slow down a little bit, and then like the thing is it builds back up, you know, the tension builds back up, and it just ends in this fantastic finale, which was really heartwarming.
Also at the end, I want to say that I had some thoughts about one of the characters, the guy that basically helped the main protagonist at the beginning of the series. He was like smoking. I don't really know his name. I didn't look that much at the names. I'm honestly really bad at remembering names, so I often look at the small details like the scenery and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed that. So I wasn't really paying attention to subtitles that much. So that might explain why I didn't really understand why the time skip was there, but there was probably a very good reason through dialogue. But basically, I had this idea that the guy that was like smoking and helped the main protagonist, that his loved one was also a god of weather. Is that what it's called? I watched it in Norwegian, so I don't really know. So I thought that his loved one that died was actually a weather god, and that basically made it so that I thought like in the end when he like stood in front of the main protagonist, and I thought he was going to tell him like that he picked the right choice by letting go of his loved one, just basically I thought at the end he was going to try to convince him to say that he should let go of his loved one just for the weather, you know, so the weather would be better again, because it's affecting the whole Tokyo, it's affecting the whole city. But in the end it turned kind of like you bring the gun again, which is, I think it's really good. You like introduce the gun like at the beginning of the story, and you legit carry the gun. You carry that one item through like the whole story. Gun again, affecting the whole. To say that he should let go of his loved one just for the weather, you know, so the weather would be better again, because it's affecting the whole Tokyo, it's affecting the whole city. But in the end it turned kind of like you bring the gun again, which is, I think it's really good. You like introduce this effect of basically letting go of his loved one by it was going to be the end, and that basically made it so that I thought like in the end when he like stood in front of the main protagonist, and I thought he was going to tell him like that he picked the right choice by letting go of his loved one just basically I thought at the end he was going to try to convince him to say that he should let go of his loved one just for the weather, you know, so the weather would be better again, because it's affecting the whole Tokyo, it's affecting the whole city. But in the end it turned kind of like you bring the gun again, which is, I think it's really good. You like introduce the gun like at the beginning of the story, and you legit carry the gun. You carry that one item through like the whole story. It becomes really crucial. I think that's really good filmmaking. It's really good script writing in general, because there's like a rule: if you place a gun in a room, and you gotta use it at some point. Otherwise, there's like no point for the gun to be there. That's like for if you're writing a play or a movie or a film or something like that. Look, there's like a guy with golden arm. I don't know if I can show much of it. Maybe YouTube will demonetize me for that, because apparently, if it's news art, well, probably gonna get demonetized. I don't really know, man. I'm just like really rambling around. I don't really know if like what I said really makes that much sense, because I've been like saying it on and off. I don't know, back when looking at it, maybe when I'm going to be starting to editing it, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to piece together these fucking sentences, man? You say them like 5 minutes after like you've asked. It's just me being socially awkward by walking alone, you know, like, you think when you feel alone, you truly feel yourself, then there's like people running around, and you lose your thoughts because you're more focused about not talking, because for some reason it's weird to talk to a camera, you know? I don't know, you think, like at least I think that it's weird talking to the camera, which I shouldn't really do. I shouldn't really think that that's weird, because legit, everybody who makes films and movies and stuff like that like does that. But I just think, I become a little bit embarrassed about the camera. And you see like a random dude on the streets like talking to himself, you better, like I'm trying to look at it from their perspective, you know, like, you see a random dude holding a camera, just talking to himself and walking, you know, like what would you do? Would you give it a creep out? Maybe, honestly I wouldn't, but I don't know. I keep thinking that people are different, and the majority would, or some shit like that. I don't know. I think at least if you're not harming anybody, then it's all fine. But yeah, I got a little bit off guard. Let's just go back to Weathering with You. Honestly, my final words on it, very good movie. I really enjoyed it. It's really hard to compare to the other one. Which one's better, Your Name or Weathering with You? They tell their own story, you know. It's not the same story that you would need to compare those two that much. I think there's a world where I just like both of them equally, in a way. And then there's also like a word of me that just wants to critique everything, like to critique the things I love. When we were getting to the movie, right? Yeah, there was like 994 Cs, right? And so we were at the theater, and because of the coronavirus, they like basically halved the whole set. they said that everybody who didn't order a ticket after 3rd of March, those tickets would be refunded because of the coronavirus. And so, and we were like, my friends and I ordered a ticket on like at the 3rd of March, so we were like barely over it, and it was like insane. Then we go to like McDonald's, and then we meet some friends, and they tell us that they're gonna watch the movie as well, right? And they didn't know that the amount of people watching that movie basically got half. And so basically they went almost straight to the movie while we were waiting for one of our friends to come. And then, while we were waiting for one of our last friend to basically come to the station, so we could go from the station to the movie, and then we could see the movie. One of the friends we meet at McDonald's basically called them, and they said that only like 300 people, the first 300 people can only come in. We had to basically ditch our friend because of that, because people were legit running at like the theater. And so we basically hurried our way to the theater with our last friend, which like feels bad, man. We were telling him that, but just the train didn't catch up. So we were like in the theater with our last friend, and then we were basically almost the last in line. There was legit only 6 more people left, right? We were 5, and legit the place was there. The place was there for our last friend, but he wasn't there, and they didn't want to wait on him. Like they couldn't wait on him. We asked the administrator if they could wait, but they said no, and so we had to just go into the movie without our last friend, sadly. And I feel really sad for him for not watching the movie, because I think it's a really great movie. It has this, it is intended for more of a young adult or like teenager type of audience, because like I think if you're at that stage, you can relate to the main character way better. But I mean, to each human his own, you know. Like you might like get nostalgia, like memories from at the time you were like 16, or even if you're not 16, you can still learn something from it. It's a very good watch. While the movie ended, we were basically talking about how dope the soundtrack was, and all the small Easter eggs. Because like the boat, it was like the beginning scene when he came from the boat was actually a Norwegian flag. And I don't know if they did that only for our country, you know, because we live in Norway, and this was premiered in Norway, or pre-released, I don't even know. I don't know, like if you would watch it in like Germany, you would get like a German flag. I don't really know that. But it's a very cool thing they did. I did notice it quite well. My friends, if you're watching this, thank you so much. It's such a great movie that it made me do this. It made me go out alone and just talk to the camera and just let my feelings out, you know. Either way, thank you so much for your attention, and peace out. Hope you have a great time.
Chase scene, bombing together, and there, skip. And so I was kind of like left wondering, like, what was it for? But reflecting on it right now, I think it was more for like to release the tension, because you had like this very, very hard emotional moment basically in the almost.
We're entering the Colosseum. Holy shit, dude. I just came out of the movie right now, and I'm feeling fucking great, honestly. The movie was amazing. It was really something. It was really... I just finished watching Wedding With You. And Wedding With You was like fucking great. It was amazing, honestly. Like, I don't know if I like Your Name or Wedding With You better, but I just can't believe people can make such good form of art. I think the visuals were really stunning. Like the clouds were really beautiful. I really liked the characters. Like all characters were really memorable, and they were there for a reason, you know? They fit with the story.
Barely a YouTuber.
It was a good time. And then also in May, I went to Las Vegas with my friend. Yeah, that was fun too. I mean, we didn't even do that much. We didn't even gamble, but we watched a magic show with November 2025. So things are going well with her. This is one of her favorite chips too. This is one of the reasons why I bought a big Costco bag of all Russell's. No, it wasn't even. Was it a Costco bag? Yeah, it was a Costco bag. And I vowed never to buy one again because I binged the last quarter of the bag, and I felt so bad afterwards. So that's why I'm only buying mini bags from now on, so I don't binge. I learned from not to trust myself with a big bag of chips. Yeah, this is pretty good. My dad is currently visiting, so I'm seeing him for the first time since a year ago. So some father and son time now. He was sick when he arrived with a sore throat and cold, and then he got better, and then a day or two ago he got a sore throat again. Trying not to get sick, doing my best because there's so many people are sick this winter season. So be careful out there, people. Yeah, it's been a really, although I mentioned the travel and stuff like that, like going to Las Vegas, going to Vancouver. Sure, you can mention those as the highlights, and those are the, the Instagram posts that people do. I don't really post on Instagram at all. I don't even use a normal Instagram app. I use a distraction-free Instagram with everything blocked. But when I list, those are the highlights that I list, and even the highlights, like they're not even the most special time of the year. The most, like, it's just in the quiet moments of being at home or going to the gym that week and being comfortable watching some YouTube videos on the couch, which are, you know, a lot more of those moments in a year than traveling to Vegas or going to Vancouver. Those quiet moments at home, just enjoying some time alone, those are all precious, special moments too. So, you know, even if I didn't go to Vegas, didn't go to Vancouver, if Niels didn't visit me from Germany, it still would have been a great year. It's not the highlights that make a year good. It's the day-to-day, quiet enjoyment of everyday, normal, ordinary life that make life good. So, enjoying a bag of chips, enjoying the comfort of Mochi the dog, Tigger, and Muffin the cat.
Muffin. So nice.
Trying out some restaurants with my girlfriend. It's those ordinary, you know, ordinary moments that make life good. So don't be fooled by the people on Instagram who are highlighting how much they're traveling or all these fancy places that they're eating at or visiting and fantastic nature scenes. Or you don't need all that. You can have a quiet, happy year without an Instagram highlight reel and be more happy and secure than those people who have to show off to their whole friend group or acquaintance group what they've been up to that year. It's all about in here and in here. It's not about all the fancy external stuff. Maybe you enjoyed a really good video game this year, or maybe a really good TV show or something that really resonated with you and stuck with you, and you thoroughly enjoyed the binging of that TV show, or a series of YouTube videos. I don't know if any YouTube videos are super memorable, but if you find a creator that you really like and you start watching them and you enjoy continuing to watch them, then, you know, maybe you feel more connected and hopefully more resonated with that you are not alone. And
Det är nästan som om du tar det som en dare, bror. Dare you to do this. Kajsa igen.
Я, кстати, да, я еще там должна роспись буду принцу из рулетки, то, что там выпало. Вот такая должница. Не, какой онлик. Не, ну в принципе на онлик, наверное, такой можно выкладывать, я не знаю. Но у нас онлик недоступен. Что там? Заебися. Пахнет пиздец.
Kommer ut? Ja, han har åter.
What the fuck else are you looking for?
Jag bara går och resetar.
This man took care of you for 4 years during cancer! What do you want?
Får mira? Jag kan inte köpa Blade.
What are you looking for?
med på flash.
No.
This trip belongs to
Of course, of course, of course. Eso fácil.
What a great pick.
I'm down for piratos.
Okay, han er
More money than they've ever made in their lives.
004.
Markiplier sa det. Hvis jeg
Nah, det var så dirty, bro.
er der. Ikke bare det. Det er en metallmål. Så når den går i venten, når den treffer veggen, det skal komme en stor bang, men radar og hørte ikke en bang. Den lagde ikke lyd når den traff boka. Og ikke lyd, og han bare står der. Og, og også.
Han kan bare pinge de. Briar?
Nei, Abdi, du burde...
Because I looked at my friend to the left seat of me.
And that people out there are actually very similar to you and feel very similar feelings as you do, if not the same. So feeling just more connected online, even if you're just messaging on a Discord server or some online group, chatting with people, having online friends, all those matter if they make you feel more connected and less alone. So, goodbye 2025, hello 2026. May your 2026 be filled with peace and joy. But more importantly, peace. I think a steady, quiet peace trumps any joyful highlight of spikes any day of the week. So, I'm 35 years old now, and 2026 is the year I turn 36. So that means it's back to the zodiac year, the year I was born, because the zodiac year repeats every 12 years, and 36 is 3 times 12, right? So 2026 is the year of the horse, which is the year I was born in 1990. So I've come full circle, 3 zodiacs old. Does that make sense? 3 zodiac cycles old, 36 years. And so the last year of my mid-30s, before turning 37, where I am in my late 30s, because I think 4, 5, 6 is mid-30s, 7, 8, 9 is late 30s, right? So I'm going to be hitting middle age pretty quickly. In the eyes of a lot of people in society, I am considered a total failure, not having made use of my engineering degree and living with my mom and, you know, making YouTube videos that earn $30 to $35 every 28 days. And now I have some side income gig, but it's really not that much. Not enough to live off of it. And the good thing is, ever since my 20s of in and out of the psych ward due to my bipolar 1, my 30s, 0 psych ward incidents. No bipolar 1 mania or psychosis episodes. So, goddamn, I am happy about that. I'm happy about that. Oh, there's a bit left. Okay, that's empty now. So, health number 1, folks. If you've got your health and you got a roof above your head, you're doing just fine. If you're not in the psych ward, which is like a small concrete prison, being drugged up with high doses of antipsychotics, with nurses checking on you every hour throughout the night to check if you're sleeping with a flashlight to inadvertently, but so obviously wake you up with the flashlight, and screaming and very with people with a lot of who don't want to be there. A lot of them don't want to be there at the psych ward, and spending Christmas and New Year's Day in the psych ward back in the end of 2018 Yeah, I've come a long way since then, and I don't care if in society's eyes I'm considered a failure at age 35, because I'm happy. I have been for a few years now, several years maybe even. They're not living my life, those who call me a failure. I'm living my life, and I'm happy with my life, so who gives a flying fuck what other people say? Just don't interact with them. And I'll see you in, well, this is already a New Year video, so I'll see you in the second video of the new year. 1% better.
So well, they're kind of like flowing together.
Hi. I have not been having a great week. And it's a lot of things. You know, I've been busy. I haven't been able to make a YouTube video like how I would want in a very long time. I've been busy with I'm in a physical therapist assistant program, so I've been busy with that. And I'm crashing out. You know, I'm having some issues financially, issues with, I don't know, relationship as well. Relationships are hard. There's going to be problems. It's been a rough week. That's all I really want to say. And in having this rough week, I was also thinking about nowadays, you know, this week a lot of things have happened this week, and I've had a friend of ours in our program who ended up quitting and leaving the program because he decided that being a PTA is not what he wanted to do. And good for him, you know, and for, you know, going for what he feels like he wants to do with his life. This is going to be about life in general and how I feel like it's getting more and more difficult to just live in general, especially in California, especially in America, and maybe even all across the world. And here's the thing: I love living in California. I love where I'm at, but holy shit, is it's hard to even be alive. You know, I joined the military when I was 18 years old. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I wanted to use it as a stepping stone for a better path, for a better future, and that's what I'm doing right now. And even with all of that, I can, after passing this program, after finishing what I need to do, graduating with, I graduate next year. Even after all of that, and let's say I make, I don't know, 35 an hour starting, or maybe it's probably lower than that. I'll probably make like 30 somewhere as a fresh graduate. Even after all of that, it's hard to survive. So you're saying I went to the military, I did all this to have a better life. Yeah, my life is good. I'll be honest. A lot of people have it a lot worse than me. I'm grateful for the experience that I have, and yet I still can barely survive and live comfortably. But that's fucking crazy. Like, I worked for Amazon as an Amazon delivery driver for a little bit, just so I could have a little bit of extra cash in the summer about a year ago, and we made about $20.50 an hour. I was working a lot, and my paychecks were pretty big, but that's because I was working so much. The job sucked. $20.50 an hour? Ain't no way you're living nicely like with that. Ain't no way. And I knew some people who were there for 2-5 years. I remember one of the leaders, the managers, was like, "Oh yeah, dude, working this job, you never need to go to the gym again." In my head, I'm like, I love the gym. I'm not about to substitute being an Amazon delivery driver for working out. You got me, like, get out of here, okay? That ain't gonna happen. I'm going to the gym. And he said that he said that, you know, it was his truth. The man didn't work out or whatever. That's fine. Those guys, those people that have been working there for 2-5+ years, respect to them. It's a hard job, but you're not going anywhere, and you're not living comfortably. That's a fact. On 20 an hour, but for me, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to quit. You know, I used it temporarily, and I did whatever. There's a cop coming, so I need to take a pause for a second. Okay, so the main point was that a lot of jobs nowadays, they don't pay shit. They don't give you. It's not enough. It's not enough. Everyone is struggling. I know so many people my age who still live with their parents, who don't even live on their own. Maybe some of them do, but hardly any. Because how could you? Literally, how could you do that? You know. And what is going on here? Sorry, I'm trying not to die. This lady just did a crazy U-turn. How could you live on 20 an hour? You can't. You can't. Okay, and that's sad, honestly. That is the norm. That these jobs are flexing. Oh my God, we pay higher than minimum wage. You gotta living nowadays. Sorry, I need to fix the camera. Living in general is tough, and I'm crashing out. I'm having a stressful week. Things are not going my way. This is not how I thought this week would go, but it's all right. Okay, things will get better. You know, it's hard. It's hard out here. I've got friends and family that work 2 jobs to try to support themselves. They're stressed out. No wonder no one has time nowadays with these jobs paying $20-$25 an hour. You got to the point where you got to work 2 jobs to survive. No one has time. Everyone's gaining weight. Everybody's complaining. You know, you got these construction workers out here in 100-degree heat holding a sign, and he probably doesn't even get paid that much. You know, but respect to him because it's a hard job. And the point of this video, I don't have a solution, guys. I don't have a solution. I'm playing the game with you. I'm your peer in life. You know, I'm going through this just as confused as you are, and I'm struggling right now. You know, it's tough. I'm stressed out. I'm crashing out this week. And another thing I wanted to go over is, like, the older you get, man, you don't have time for anything. Really, if you're in a relationship, if you got a family, you got kids and a job, that's your entire day right there. You want to go have fun and go out or travel, go to the gym, take time off work. Yeah, good luck. Okay. it is, man, getting older, having more responsibility is tough. At the same time, though, you kind of need more responsibility as you get older to prevent you from being lazy. I've been kind of thinking about this. Like, I think, all right, hear me out. I think a lot of young dudes nowadays who are lazy, who lack ambition, who just sit around all day and, like, I don't know, they're sad, they're complaining, they play video games. I mean, oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, heartbreak. I mean, I play video games, okay, every now and then. And there was a time where I was lacking some ambition, and I think what would fix that in a lot of people's problems, something that you can do, is to pretend that you have more responsibility than you actually do. And how do you do that? Pretend you have a family. Pretend you have a wife. Pretend you have 2 children that your wife just gave birth to, that now it's up to you. You are responsible for their life. If you don't get up, go to work, support your family. Maybe you like working out and you're like, man, how do I find the time to work out? You better get up at 4 in the morning. You better get up at 5 in the morning and figure something out. Pretend you're a dad. Pretend you have more responsibility than you do, and you'll figure it out. You'll be fine. Because that's why you're bored and that's why you're sad. It's because you're not doing anything. It's Thursday. It's pretty much my Friday because I don't have school on Friday. And man, I don't know. I said it before. I'll say it again. It's been a tough week. I'm stressed out, and I apologize. I haven't been able to make good videos, or even taking the time to make any videos, because I've just been, man, God, I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm like, just all types of stuff. I'm dealing with the program. I'm poor. All right. Hey. But yeah, I feel better. I've ranted enough, and I apologize if this isn't the video you expected it to be. It's just me crashing out with the sun glare in the car. But hey, I want to thank you for watching the video. I just wanted a little update on what I've been going through, and yeah, thanks for watching. So I don't know if life is tough for you. Let me know what you're going through. I'm curious to know. You know, it just turned 26 last month, and hey, the only way is up from here, baby.
So this is a video that I never imagined in my life I would ever have to make. And if you are here from my Instagram, you have already known what I have been going through, as well as my boyfriend Colin, who unfortunately ended his life by suicide this past July. It's been around 5 months ever since then, and you know, it just doesn't get fucking easier. And it is something that I know for sure I can't move on or move forward with my life acting like this shit never happened. So first off, just some notes. This is going to be a super raw, unfiltered video. Second, yes, I will be talking about suicide and mental health, and if that's a trigger for you, maybe watch this some other time or just don't watch it at all. 3, I am turning off the comments in this video just because I feel like, you know, I don't feel like I need to read more comments. I feel like I have a lot to sift through already on Instagram and through my messages, and if you really do have something you want to say in response to this, feel free to message me on Instagram. But I'm my partner for the past 8 years, and a lot of you who have been on my art career retreats, around like almost like 70 of you probably met him at this point, which I am glad. Fuck. I am really grateful that he got that opportunity to meet a lot of the people that my art has left an impact on, and he's someone that came into my life when I first moved to California and I wanted to break into animation, and he is the person that ultimately really brought me out of my shell and, you know, motivated me to start taking my goals and my art seriously. You know, I used to not be like this. Like, my YouTube channel kind of even existed because of him. Like, my Instagram, everything that I did to really take my art, storytelling, and moving everything about my life to the next level started because he was a part of it. Like, you'll see everything I started posting was like around 2017, 2018, that time period, and it's really thanks to him that, you know, I've gotten this far. And, you know, we traveled a lot together, and he also was someone that just brought a lot of joy in my life when I used to be the moodier person, and I only wish that I could have done more for him because he was going through such a dark period in his life. And, you know, we got this house together that we raised our 2 cats, Moonpie and Bonbon, together in. It's the closest to having a family I think I ever got to experience with him outside of my own family. And, you know, moving from New York to California was just a big shift in my life, which, you know, I originally thought I was fucking moving here to work in animation. I thought I was moving here to go to Cal Arts and, you know, just be an animator. Little did I know that shit was probably just the bait to what actually this universe apparently had in store for me, which I still am not fully accepting, but, you know, it's just kind of like, I am just fucking lost now and at a loss of words with what to say or do. But, you know, I just never realized that he was going to play this huge of a role in my life, from life to now even death. So yeah, me and Colin have been together for around 8 years, and throughout the majority of our life, I remembered him just being the sunshine to my cloudy rain of mess. I don't know how our roles switched, but it did. Throughout my life, I just remembered Colin being this positive ray of light, and I loved him for that, but I also was concerned about that to some degree, where I remembered asking him on some of our drives, like we would go on dates, and I would just be like, do you ever get angry or do you ever get anxious? Because I really don't understand how you were always so happy and just so chill with things in life. And I just remembered his answer to that was just like, I don't know, I just never feel anxious or sad. And I'm just kind of like, okay, but that obviously is not a good sign. So check in with your guys, or I don't know, I don't even want to say just guys, because I feel like everyone kind of deals with masking of emotions to some degree, but I do think men's mental health is a pretty big role in this as well. So I just always knew that, you know, he had some level of masking of whatever negative emotions he had, but, you know, I wasn't gonna force it out of him if he didn't want to at that time. So regardless, we still had a relationship where he confided in me a lot about his emotions. And it got to the point where one day, this was in 2023, he ended up rage quitting a job that he felt like he was not being respected in. And he ended up joining the military out of nowhere. And this was out of left field. And at this time, I had no idea what was going on. But now I know that that was his first manic episode, because at that time, I didn't know that he had bipolar disorder. So this was a major point of contention in our relationship, because I was just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what's happening? But I always had this gut feeling that there was something else happening. Like, I knew that even if he made this life-changing decision, there was so much more going beyond just that. And we actually went to therapy for that year. And, you know, we got to a place where I was like, okay, like, if this is the life decision that you feel like you need to make and you need to go join the Marines, like, go for it. And he ended up going, only for, during his time in boot camp, he ended up falling into his depressive episode and had his first suicide attempt. So obviously after that situation, he was discharged from the Marines. He was hospitalized and discharged. But I was angry because during the times that he was enlisted and joining the Marines, I just remembered going to the recruiting office multiple times. Like, I would show up with him and I would question the recruiter and ask, like, how do you know that this is coming from like a rational, like, this rational mind? Like, I feel like there's something else, like, that Colin is making this decision from an unsound state of mind. And, you know, I just remember the recruiter would just keep questioning me and asking me if I was like a mental health professional. Do I really know? And like, honestly, like, no, I don't. But I just know that my partner would not make this decision like that. It was just very out of left field. It was just this whole like life-changing decision that just was made over the course of like a night. I also just have to say that another thing they said to me when I was in their office was, oh, you know, the Marines have this like top tier mental health screening system. If anything shows up in like Colin's like analysis, like, and if it shows up he has like some sort of mental illness, like, we know we would definitely not recruit him. But clearly they did not fucking catch on to the fact that he was depressed and dealing with bipolar. But then this decision would kind of like last, and his behaviors surrounding that decision would last for like almost like half a year, or a little bit less than half a year. And yeah, I had no idea that was his first manic episode. Then he had a crash into depression leading to a suicide attempt at the Marines, which led to his discharge. And at that time, we just kind of thought like, oh shit, like, whatever it is, we know it is mental health related and you should get the help that you need. But I just remember that time period after he got out of the Marines, we were so focused on trying to get him under Medi-Cal, because at this time he didn't have his job like anymore. So he had to go under Medi-Cal. And Medi-Cal, let me tell you, does not have the greatest resources, and also to be able to get onto their plan is not an easy process. Like, there were just so many options that you have to look into, and it's just not easy to just get onto a plan like easily. Like, it's something that I remembered we were on phone calls where people would treat this like they were trying to sell us their best offer when we don't really know what it is we're signing up for. There's just so much red tape involved with signing up for health insurance. And before we were able to even get him to his first therapy or psychiatry appointment, he had his second suicide attempt here at our home. And that led to his second hospitalization, which was a long-term psychiatric hold. And from that point onward, they diagnosed him with major depressive disorder and bipolar disorder, and he was on medication for both depression and bipolar. So throughout this time, Colin ultimately was just kind of like a whole different person. He was a version of him I've never seen before. He was mostly depressed, low energy, and just kind of like pretty flat is how I would describe him. He stayed at his parents for some time, and then he did eventually move back and lived. And then he did eventually move back here at home with me. And throughout the rest of last year, he just kind of has been going through what seemed like a mixed episode. So for those of you who are not familiar with bipolar disorder, I've been reading a lot about it. I've been reading a lot about suicidal ideation, reading a lot about, you know, how to love someone with bipolar or suicidal thoughts. But there usually are two major elements to bipolar, such as mania, which is you'll see your loved one with this like elevated mood. They might act erratic and agitated. It's not always just like sunshine and rainbows type of energy. A lot of it is also pretty dysphoric, and sometimes even psychosis is involved. And then with depression is, you know, a lot more people are familiar with what that experience is like, but it's just no motivation to do anything, low energy, feeling hopeless and despair in life. And then there's also mixed episodes where you're kind of like in a state of both, where you're constantly just agitated. You have like energy for the agitation, but you don't have motivation or that will to truly live and, you know, get your life to a stable place. So the majority of last year, I would say he was kind of in that state. And sadly, like, he would have multiple more attempts to not like actually end his life, but he was going to put a plan in place to end his life where, you know, he would try to purchase multiple items, and me and his mom were the main ones trying to really stop him from being able to get a hold of those items. So throughout the course of last year, it was honestly a tug of war between trying to stop him from ending his life and him trying to end his life. And he was hospitalized again, like in late fall of last year, when he was going to try to purchase something to end his life once again. It's really hard to, you know, navigate how to handle a loved one that at this level of severity of mental illness. And, you know, I don't really feel like I have a success story to tell people like what to do. But one thing I do know that was really important, and as little as this action might have seemed, is to learn to just meet people with where they are at. Like, you can't force someone out of depression. You can't force someone out of anything. But the only thing you can really do with people like Colin, who was suffering, was to just sit with them in their darkness and be with them with where they are. And last year we did this challenge called 75 Hard, and for one of the exercises we would do is we would go outside every day at night and go on a walk for 45 minutes. And that was the time that I honestly would just want to hear everything that was on his mind. And I'll be so fucking real, like there were so many times I was just scared about the things that he was saying. He would express these super nihilistic philosophies on life and why he feels like he has the right to end his life and everything. And there's a part of me, one half of me is there to just like listen and just be like, I don't even want to say validating the darkness, but it's like in some ways you do have to validate at least the pain, the darkness, and try to tap into maybe a time in life that you felt like that. I try to tap into times in my life I felt like that and just let him know that he wasn't alone and that, you know, it's okay to share these thoughts and that I love him even when he had these thoughts. But then there's a part of me that's also just like, how the fuck do you like validate someone who wants to end their life? And throughout last year, I've been like talking to 988 like maybe every other week. And I have to be so fucking real. Like 988, I still think it's a resource that should exist. If you are dealing with suicidal thoughts, struggling mentally, emotionally, I would still reach out to 988. If I were you, I've even talked to 988 myself. But I really think it's important to realize that it is just kind of a band-aid solution to just de-escalate where you're at that moment, but it is not a long-term thing. Like they can send you resources to where to get your mental health treatments or things like that. But it's just like, there is nothing that actually I feel will help someone turn that switch from being like, I want to end my life to I want to live. Like, it's not going to do that for you, but it is a way to de-escalate you being in like the super abyss level thoughts of your mind in that moment. So I just want to be real and just give my honest thoughts that, you know, I still think 988 should exist and that yes, reach out to it if you have struggles that you want to talk about, but at the same time, have your expectations about it managed because it is not the end-all be-all solution. So I would just talk to 988 a lot, like, you know, after these talks and just not know what to do. I would try to look into their resources that they would send me or like read books about bipolar disorder or suicidal ideation. I would join these like support groups about, you know, how to love someone with bipolar disorder or what is it like to be like a partner turned into a caregiver. And, you know, I would try to learn everything that I could to know how to just be in this situation, because honestly, like, knowledge, in my personal opinion, is power, and I really think that that is how I was able to stick through this for as long as I was able to, was just learning all that I could, because the unknown, I think, honestly scared me more than anything. So yeah, I would go on all these long walks with him every night, just hear on, you know, just everything. He would tell me about his childhood. He would tell me about his times in high school, the Marines, and his fallout with the company that he was working with, and just how he has been feeling regarding his relationships and everything. And, you know, I knew to like take some things with a grain of salt because, you know, I do believe what he says is coming from somewhere. But I also know that when you are in a manic or depressive or mixed state, it might be expressed in a way that sometimes is more abrasive than it actually is. So I try to, again, maintain the balance between, you know, hearing what he has to say versus, you know, trying to think about what is true and what should be handled or dealt with or addressed and whatnot. And I even tried to look into things that, you know, not everyone is perfect. And I'm sure that us being a couple, I've had times where maybe I gave Colin a hard time while maybe he was stressed and I couldn't even see what he was going through. So I've apologized for all those times where I felt like maybe I didn't really witness him in the ways that he needed to be witnessed while he was struggling. And maybe I'm lost in my own shit and maybe I take it out on him or I put too much on him without realizing what he's going through. I tried to figure out what it could be that I don't know if I was even contributing to this, but all I did know was that by the end of every fucking walk we had last summer, we would always stand outside our house or home and I would always give him a hug and I would just tell him, thank you for telling me everything that was on your mind. I just wanted to let you know that no matter what you shared with me, I will always love you and, you know, I'm just grateful for you being in my life. And, you know, it was just always like such a mindfuck because I felt like I was living in a state of anticipatory grief where you have someone you love so much and they keep expressing this desire to die. And it's just like, it just felt like it was going to happen. And I had to prepare for that option in life just because I didn't know if there was anything I could do to really change his mind. And I had to still approach a lot of my conversations with him from a standpoint of like, I'm not here to change your mind, but I am here to just listen to what you have to say, even though deep down inside, I don't want you to do what you are saying you want to do with your life. So yeah, anyway, leading up to the fall of last year, he did eventually have another attempt to buy something to try to end his life. And that led to me having to call the mobile health crisis unit, which if you're not aware of what that is, and I don't know if it's just in Los Angeles or in our world, but sometimes like you just don't know if calling the hospital is the right decision to make. And the reason why is because like, again, as advanced as our world would like to think that we are in the world of mental health, I really don't think our world is where it really needs to be with that care, because I have heard about Colin's experience in like the psych wards, and there's a lot of people who share their experiences at the psych wards. And while it is a place to, again, it can help de-escalate the situation, I really don't feel like it's where it needs to be to really truly care for their patients from like a compassionate level. Because from what I've heard from Colin's experience, like you don't really get like a therapist to really like deeply get in touch with what you are going through or talking to you. They kind of just provide you like the medications and give you like group therapy sessions and just take care of like food and whatever for that time to just kind of keep you in a safe place for that temporary time until they can transition you to whatever next step you need for your care. But that is the place where I always feel like there's a gap. Like, it's like, all right, he was held there for the 5150, the psychiatric hold, but the moment that you're discharged, it's like, you know, you'll get recommendations for places to go, you'll get suggestions, you'll get some guidance, but you never really actually get that full-on support for your loved one to really get access to the level of care they need. And sometimes that might be an inpatient or outpatient program, which is, you know, a more intensive type of treatment and program for someone going through a severe mental health crisis. And unfortunately, I just feel like that bridge was never truly crossed for Colin, even though it's like we would try to get him to get to that state of where we would try to get him to that level of care, but it was just always us having to do it, and like the mental health professionals don't really help you bridge that gap, honestly. That's just our experience. So I've always been on the fence about calling the hospital on him because, one, I don't want to traumatize him again or put him in a position where he would have to be hospitalized and have more trauma on top of the pre-existing trauma. But second, it just gets to a point where I'm just a fucking 29-year-old girl. Like, I mean, I wasn't even 29, I was 28 at this time. What the fuck do I know about anything? Like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. So I don't know everything. So it just got to a point where I was like, I think I just need to call the mobile health crisis unit, who basically sends like a team of social workers to your house, and then they assess the situation and decide if they should go to the hospital. So they make the decision for you, so that it's not me that makes the decision, because I didn't want Colin to associate me with being the one to like want to send him to the hospital. Like, trust me, like, I don't want this for you. But also, if that's what's needed for you, then it's like, I guess that's just what has to happen. So they ultimately did agree that he needed to be hospitalized. And after this hospitalization, he was prescribed Abilify, and he was on this like one single pill. And I actually do feel like, again, from my experience, I don't like follow any, this is not medical advice. When he was discharged from the hospital this time, I actually felt like things were actually starting to get a little bit better when he was on medication. After this experience, believe it or not, like literally 1 week later, I went on my Our Career Journey trip in Japan, which he was able to join me in on. And during that time, he would just work on his personal goals and life while I would just be hosting these trips. And it's just like, a part of me just still is processing the fact that I felt like I was living two completely separate lives. Like, most of you saw me on these trips as, you know, this like ambitious woman pursuing her art career and sharing her advice with everyone. But you know, by the end of the day, I'm just a fucking girl going back to her fucking hotel room, reminding her partner to take his medication and making sure that he was like, okay. And, you know, it was actually strange because I feel like in that time period in life, after his third hospitalization, I actually felt like things might be okay. Like, he was starting to show some signs of stabilization. He wanted to get his life together. He was starting to socialize with his friends again and just playing interests and things. And this is like kind of what I have been waiting for and wanting for him so bad since the beginning of this year. So, you know, time kind of goes on. I have another art retreat in South Korea that he also joins in on. And when we come back from South Korea, you know, I think that things seem to actually be improving. Like, when we came back, he really wanted to do a lot of things for us and like get the house together, and he wanted to make plans with friends and see people. And he has been like showcasing more of this desire to connect with other people that I did not see, you know, in the beginning of the year when he had his first 2 hospitalizations. And like, I just literally thought like, oh my God, things are getting better. He seems like he's finding more peace with his life and is accepting of where he's at and is doing what he needs to do to get his life in the place that he feels like it needs to be at and whatnot. And, you know, I remember this time period, he was starting to apply to jobs, and I would also try to help him. Like, I'm not even in tech, by the way, but like, I would try my best to just like edit his resumes or like, I don't know, like write cover letters, but like, I wasn't doing everything for him. I was trying to still allow him to have some agency in that world, but I just wanted to let him know that, like, I'm just fucking here for you, man. Like, I don't think that we as humans were meant to go through life alone. And I feel like after the things that he went through, I just feel like he went through something so unfair that I just fucking wanted him to have his win for once, you know? So things in this time period felt like they were getting better, but little did I know that I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget, but I always knew, and I think I was in denial and didn't want it to be true. But while things seemed like they were getting better, it was actually the signs of him entering a hypomanic state, and then it would lead to mania. So a lot of people think in bipolar, like, mania is like, oh my gosh, this person is so euphoric and happy and friendly and have so many creative ideas that they keep bouncing around. And, you know, people seem to love that type of character. And, you know, I do love Colin. Throughout just being bipolar, depressed, just him being himself, like, I fucking loved all of it. And the thing that scared me the most about this manic episode is that it mostly consisted of, like, dysphoric mania, which for any of you who have a loved one that dealt with bipolar 1 specifically, it is, like, not like the happy, creative mania. Like, sure, there was some of that in him still, but a lot of it was also like agitation, irritability, anger. He would have these like erratic rants that would last until like 4 a.m, and I would stay up with him. I would even draw some of his darkest thoughts for him. But like, our sleep was hitting the negatives. Like, I got a Fitbit for the first time in my fucking life, and the Fitbit was telling me like, Michelle, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. I really don't know what the fuck is happening. So Colin was entering another manic episode, and I just did not know what to do with that. And what happened was he ended up taking off on a road trip across the country out of nowhere. And, you know, this situation just escalated to this next level. And I remember, like, I was in contact with a bunch of friends and family and, like, the NAMI hotline, or, like, you know, a lot of these mental health like groups to talk about what the fuck to do. I don't know what to do. I've been like talking to, you know, therapists and people who have dealt with bipolar. I tried to talk to like anyone to get as much knowledge as I could about what the hell was happening, because he broke out in a pretty bad manic episode. He I found him like in the shower, and he started expressing a lot of delusions that weren't really making sense. But what did make sense is I remembered he had these same delusions from the first manic episode he had from when he joined the Marines. Like, it was almost like the same script was being expressed again. And I was just like, I know this is a manic episode, and I don't know what to do. So it just kind of seemed like no one honestly really knew what to do. But what did end up happening was after he took off on this like manic road trip across the country, was he ended up in a hospital in Kansas. And in that hospital in Kansas, they ended up putting him on an involuntary hold there. And at this period in time, Colin was like in this like frantic position of being super paranoid. He was experiencing a lot of paranoia and honestly what seemed like signs of psychosis. He was cutting off like a lot of friendships and pushing away loved ones, and he even ended up breaking up with me, which to be honest, I like didn't even know if that breakup was like legitimate or not. And a part of me had to kind of just hold my ground and just be like breathing through it and being like, I really don't think that this is like real, but at the same time, I still have to consider the possibility of like, if he really feels like he needs to be separated from me to improve his mental health, like I'm kind of willing to sacrifice myself. But the only way that I can really know that that was what was on his mind is because I read a lot of his journal entries and whatnot in the past of him just expressing how much of a burden that he felt like he had on my life, and he couldn't stand or deal with seeing me constantly take care of him, and he felt really guilty and bad. He felt like a charity case in his own words, and I really think he wanted to try to prove that he could do this on his own, when to me, I'm like, no man, you can't do this on your own. Like, when you're in a crisis like this, you need a village. Like, you can't just cut off people. So even though it's like he wanted to separate himself from everyone and pushed himself away from everyone, at the same time, I kind of knew like, I don't really feel like that's the right thing to do. But, you know, he was in Kansas under a psychiatric hold, and I disagreed with a lot of the ways that his hospitalization in Kansas was handled. I don't feel like, you know, the hospitals are really that like informed or educated on his level of mental health crisis. I don't know, but basically what had happened was they ended up putting him in prison for a few days, because during his court hearing, which is what happens when you're about to get discharged from a hospital, is they kind of have to decide whether or not if you should be transferred to a longer term stay at a hospital, or if you're just kind of free to go, because after you're put on a psychiatric hold, they just want to make sure you're not going to be a danger to yourself or others. But, you know, they decided that he should stay at another hospital longer, which I do agree with. But I guess he was not accepting of that decision and had like interference with like law enforcement, where he was probably trying to like resist going. So from that, they ended up putting him in jail for like a few days when they knew that this man was not mentally well and going through psychosis and experiencing psychotic symptoms, which they literally stated on the hospital note or whatever. And they still put him in prison, which I feel like added more trauma and more damage to the situation than needed to be. Like, why didn't you just fucking send him to the next hospital? So then he went to the next hospital, and again, like, he was there for a while, and in the court hearing for his discharge for that hospital, which his parents and I were a part of, they ultimately said that they're frustrated because he just hasn't been talking, and they don't know what to do with him, so they're just going to discharge him. And they said that he's choosing to be selectively mute, and they kind of like framed his behavior in a way like as if he's just fucking doing this to be like an asshole, just because he wants to. Like, he wants to do this for fun. Like, and I couldn't fucking believe what the fuck I was hearing on this court hearing. It was just, I was trying to express, like, you know, last year he was having all of these, like, suicide attempts. He was hospitalized multiple times. I don't think it's a good idea for him to be discharged. Or if he is discharged, I think it would be a good idea for someone to be there to, like, pick him up and take him to, like, the next place safely or something like that. But they were just like, no, we have to make room for, like, the next patient. And you have to ask yourself, like, how much longer are you going to let him, like, drag you guys around like this? And I feel like the wording of that just really upset me, because they were treating him, like, as if he was doing this, like, out of his own agency. And, you know, I think when you're mentally ill and dealing with a crisis at this level, I do believe people still have some level of agency to their illness. Like, you know, there's a part of us that is still there, but I don't think that agency looks like a solid, firm grasp and be like, yeah, I can control my life now out of the blue. I don't know if any of you have played Stardew Valley. That has been my coping game this whole time. But like, when you go fishing, like, you know how there's like a bar that just bounces and you have to align the fish icon to the bar? I feel like that's, but like, imagine it at like the difficult level when like the bar is like jumping around and you're just trying to align the fucking fish to the bar. I feel like that to me is what symbolically looked like where Colin's level of agency was at with this mental illness, because I have seen him in person. I have seen all the nuances of how he was acting, talking, behaving, making decisions, and, you know, like, just none of it was coming from a sound, stable state of mind. And it was just upsetting me how these people at this fucking hospital were just like, he's just a fucking annoying teenage boy. You just gotta, like, just stop, like, being involved with the situation and stop letting him drag you around like this. Which was fucking crazy, because they ended up discharging him with no concrete steps to the next plan. Like, I do think that they maybe suggested this halfway house situation for him, but it's not like anyone would be there to facilitate bringing him there. And of course, he ended up not going there. And it was just so ironic, because I remembered it was like blizzarding this day in Kansas, and they're like, yep, there's gonna be a blizzard coming, so you better, you know, stay careful out there on the road when you're going through a psychotic manic episode and we expect you to drive in a fucking blizzard. So what ended up happening was he would bring himself to like these homeless shelters. He would be in and out of these hotels and whatever. And I would just still stay in contact with him, even though technically at this point he has chosen to separate from me and whatnot. And I tried to respect the space, but I would still try to keep my tabs on him via like friends and family and whatnot. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just still felt like what really needed to happen was that, my honest opinion is, I think that he needed to be hospitalized and be given medication to de-escalate his mania, because his manic episodes, from my experience, lasted like almost like 6 months long, or like multiple months long. And what happens when you're manic is you constantly make these risky, life-changing decisions that by the time you crash into depression, you end up regretting like everything you did, and that adds to the shame, that then adds to the fuel of you wanting to end your life by the time you hit the crash in depression. So I've been advocating, so like, you know, I'm his partner, I'm his girlfriend, you know, I can go out there and like help him, but it's just gotten to a point where I feel like I've been doing everything on my own, and I feel like he kind of resented me taking care of him so much, and he didn't want to be in a position where I was constantly taking care of him, and then that would make him feel like a burden. Like that dynamic was just no longer working. So I would try to respect the distance and just try to assess the situation from back here in California. And it actually did get to a point where miraculously, he actually did come back to California for like a brief amount of time, and he ended up staying here where, you know, I tried to persuade or get him to seek the professional care that he needed. But I just don't think that his episode was over, and he was still insistent. Like the moment he got back, his paranoia started striking in, and then he believed that he needed to go back to Kansas immediately because his car was left there, and apparently he picked up this like part-time job and whatnot. So it was a whole ordeal when he was back. Personally, I did not want him to go back to Kansas, but he did end up going back to Kansas. And I remembered I just kept telling him, like, I love you so much. I just want you to get the care that you need. I feel like you deserve a life where you deserve to live a life without regrets and pursue your biggest dreams without feeling any remorse about any of them. I just want that for you, like, so fucking bad. And I'm just like fucking crying to him in my fucking dining room and whatnot. And he kept expressing to me that he understands, but he needs to go back to Kansas to like do this and whatnot. And it got to a point where I just had to learn to channel my inner Buddha. Like, I don't know how I fucking did this, but it got to a point where I was just like, I know I cannot control what he does, but I just needed to stay as neutral of a position as I could as his partner, because like, if I tried to control anything any further, like I really do think our relationship would have become unsalvageable after that. Like if I tried to become his mother or become a parent, like there's no way our relationship could recover from that. And I just kind of like, you know, while I did not want him to go back to Kansas, I remembered I just told him on our last night together, I was just like, I just want to let you know, I love you so fucking much. Like, thank you for everything that you've done for me. You left an impact on my life. And I just want to let you know that I will never forget the things that you have done to make me a better person. I just hope that you forgive yourself and that you let yourself cry and feel all the vulnerable feelings you need to feel and whatnot. But I did also let him know that this situation has gotten to a point where I need to start taking care of myself. I need to start like, you know, I need to start, looking out for my own emotional safety, because the situation has gotten to a point where it was no longer safe for me emotionally to be around. And it's not even like his fault. I don't even blame him. I'm not even angry at him. I just feel like the situation became emotionally unsafe for me for a multitude of factors that extend beyond just him. It is like the mental health system, our community, the way our world approaches mental health, men's mental health. There's just like so many elements that if no one was willing to literally like team up with me, because at this point, quite frankly, it was just me and his mom who were really doing a lot of the heavy lifting of the situation, there's no way that we could get out of this. And if he was so confident that going back to Kansas is his way of like being able to help himself, I just didn't know how I could say no to that. And, you know, I've been working with a therapist who also lost his partner to suicide. And a way that he put it was, you know, his partner also left on this whole manic spree, or like this manic runaway. And in that moment, I have to remember that it wasn't about leaving me. It was about him going out there to find any last ounce of hope he could to have his reason to live. And I only wish that he had more support in not just enabling going back to Kansas, but just being like, you know, like, it's okay to need help. It's okay to like cry. It's okay to have a support system and not do this alone. Like, I don't know, like it's okay to go to therapy. It's like, I don't know, like it's okay to be taken care of. It's okay. Like, I don't know, like it couldn't just be me delivering that message to him. And I think he needed to hear that from a lot more people who played crucial roles in his life. But I really do feel like a lot of that responsibility did fall on my shoulders, and I knew that it just could not be me moving forward. So I remember that last night, honestly, like I did treat that goodbye, like the last time I would ever see him. And then the next day I remembered, like I woke up early because I knew he was going to catch his flight to Kansas, and I really didn't fucking want him to go. But I remembered I just stood by my door and I just like hugged him for like one last time. And then he walked down the hallway out of our house, and that was going to be the last time I would ever see him again. So after he left, I knew I had to like start distancing myself from the situation, but I still had friends who were keeping in touch with him and talking to him that I would hear from, so that I could kind of assess like the situation. And I mean, I'm not even going to dig too much into this, but you know, there were moments that the situation escalated even further, and he flew all the way to Ukraine to join the Foreign Legion there. And that was a whole episode that I just don't think can even fit into here. But I was trying to keep tabs on him in any way that I could without like truly like emotionally involving myself in a way that I knew I would get hurt. Like, thankfully I was still logged into his LinkedIn on my computer, and I was like, okay, I can see if he's like talking to anyone or has any like chance of like coming back to the US and like seeking stability here and whatnot. So this was like between March and June of this year, is like he would continue making a lot of decisions that I just did not fully agree with. But I also just didn't agree with the fact that he was not getting the care that he needed and whatnot. But at this point, it's just like, I feel like I said all I need to say to everyone. Like, I've made all my calls and cries for help, and me doing it further without any reciprocation from those parties was only hurting me more. So I was just at a loss of what to do. So all I knew was that, okay, I have friends calling him. I'm so grateful for those friends that did decide to keep in touch with him during those times. And then during the last month, he actually started reaching out to me again. But at that point, I have been told by so many people that I needed to start looking into like buying him out of the house or something like that. Maybe I should give him the money from our house so that he can like start his life. But then I kind of was resistant to doing that because I just know that when you're manic, you have like this like erratic money spending behavior and it would just all be blown onto like what, like nothing. So I kind of was like left in a state of paralysis about those decisions. And he had all these hospital bills that came in the mail, and he also got this like restraining order from like his company, and it was just like there was just so much shit that I just did not know like how the fuck I would deliver that information to him if I were to be able to talk to him again. But in the last month, he started messaging me and he started like expressing his apologies to me, and he was sorry for like putting me through all this, and he let me know like, you know, it was not your fault. I just want to let you know that I understand why you had to do what you need to do, but I just want to let you know that I just love you so much and I'm sorry for everything and I'm trying to do what I need to do to make things right. And for me, I'm just like, the only things that I could really be able to tell him in those moments was like, you really need to seek professional long-term help, and it can't be coming from me to make you do that, you know. And it's just something that I was just left in conflict of because I didn't know how to respond to him for like around a month or so, but I did like make sure he saw the messages. And I remembered I was on my New York art career retreat. I was on the first day of my New York art retreat, and I got one of my friends who was able to get on a call with him, was able to like record the call and like send it to me, and I was like listening to it on my way home. And from what it sounded like, it got to a point where it sounded like he was actually going to come back to California to seek like long-term care. And I was actually like kind of excited and looking forward to that. So by the time that, you know, a few weeks go by and I come back from my New York art retreat, I get the phone call that Colin ended up taking his life in Kansas. And obviously after that, like my life absolutely took a switch, and I've never felt anger, sadness, hopelessness, despair, betrayed. Like I just feel so misdirected by life. And like, you know, you go through life being told to trust certain people, trying to believe what people want to tell you to make the right life choices. I don't fucking know, but I just can't help but fucking look back at all of those times and just be fucking pissed off, quite honestly. Like I'm fucking like just appalled. Like I just feel like the world let him down, let me down, let us down. And I know a lot of people say like, yeah, you should learn to forgive, and maybe I will one day in the future, but bitch, not right now. Like I just, something has been fucking lit up in me since July 22nd, 2025. And I just cannot let him or his story just go down the drain just like this, you know. Like I feel like I have so much to say about our mental health system and our society that claims to be so mental health proficient, but honestly I think our society is so mental health illiterate. And you know, we all think that, oh, we're so aware about mental health and mental illness, but once, you know, those symptoms start to become inconvenient, people start to fucking like back out and whatnot. And it's just like, I know I also kind of had to distance myself towards the end, but like why did it have to get to that point that I had to distance myself? Is because it was just me. Like I had like no village. I can't confidently say I had a village. I lived every fucking day in this house, on this couch, in this fucking building with these two cats. I remember what the fuck we have been through, and I don't think we had what we needed to be able to survive this. And it's just like, I totally understand that not many people have the tools to deal with the situation, and many people just don't want to escalate the situation further and, you know, want to add to the suicidal tendencies. But at the same time, it's just like there's so much wrong with our fucking world and society and our systems that I just think that it's so much easier to just be like, oh, we couldn't have done anything, suicide's not preventable, let's move on with life. Like I think that approach is great for people that are prioritizing like their own inner peace and they just don't want to deal with this situation anymore, which, okay, to each their own. Like, yeah, I know, like, but this was my person. Like, I just cannot let this shit just go like that. Like, this shit costed me his life, my life, and our life. And all I know is that I just cannot let this shit go just like that. Like, again, I'm very angry, and I'm trying to channel that anger in ways that won't be detrimental to me. And I know that step one of that is to just talk about it. I've been to like multiple suicide survivor loss groups at this point. I've been seeing a therapist who has done work in suicide prevention and has also lost his partner to suicide. So a lot of my guidance and knowledge and information is coming from these standpoints. And, you know, I've also come from a world where I was taught that anger and negative emotions are not welcomed, but it is because we are in a world that does not allow ventilation or expression of those emotions, because we only want to live in this safe, curated, happy, positive world. And I really think that creating this expectation for people to be like that, this fake, happy contentment, it represses the reality of what everyone is really going through, which is not just happiness. Like, we're all going through a mixture of fucked up shit that has to go somewhere. And we're not really taught to channel those emotions. And I feel really sad because I don't think Colin really had the ability to do that either. I really do think a lot of his emotions and negativity was repressed, and being a man in this society, there's so much expectations to just not be that and to man up and to just be independent, when I think a lot more men need to support each other and themselves and teach each other that it's okay to go through these difficult emotions. Like, I'm just so fucking angry. And I know after I like film this video, I'll just let myself cry it all out, but it's just, yeah, that's just where I'm at. And that's why going back to this channel, I can't fucking go back to making like fucking 10 art tips. Like, fuck that shit. Sorry, I'm getting like unhinged. But, you know, I had plans to like make a new YouTube channel talking about like my personal life stories, news stories. But I don't know, maybe that might have to go into like a lot of what I'm talking about right now. Is just, all I'm saying is I don't fucking know where the fuck my life is going to take me from this point onward. But all I know is that I cannot go back to that people pleaser version of me that was just like so willing to just be like, okay, like, you don't want to help, all right, like, and just not standing up for what I needed or what Colin needed, like, enough. And I know like people will tell me, you are enough, don't be so hard on yourself. And I won't be hard on myself, but I do know that a part of not letting Colin's story die and go to waste is me allowing myself to be okay with my anger and sadness and channeling it in the places that they need to go in. And what I do know in this lifetime is that all I am left with after I have fucking lost everything is art. And I guess that's where it's gonna go. A lot of people are gonna tell me that things are gonna be better, things will be okay, you will heal from this. But, you know, after learning a lot more about grief and my grieving process, there is no healing, there is no moving on from this. The only thing there is learning to carry the grief a little better. It's like maybe in 5 months from now, instead of like crawling on the ground with this, I'll maybe just be like taking baby steps with this. But it's always gonna be there. And like, even when I made my first call to join this suicide survivor loss group, the facilitator, who also went through his own loss, was just like, yeah, there is no healing from this. We just have to integrate it in our lives and adapt with it, because there is just that acknowledgement that I think is needed with a tragedy like this, is that it's not fucking okay that this shit happens. And I don't even know what the future is gonna hold for me. I could be saying all this shit and then just die like next year, and all of this could have just been said for nothing. I don't know. But all I do know is that I just have to take shit one day at a time, one step at a time, navigating the world in the ways that I need to be. And right now I need to be like this, and I need to surround myself with people that let me know that it is okay to not be okay, as cringy as that sounds. And I don't really know what else to do with that energy of not being okay other than sharing it through my art, which is one of the tools I guess I have been blessed with in this lifetime. Once you go through a life-shattering event just like this, it's like there is no going back to that life. Like, trust me, I fucking wish, and I would love to go back to a world of just having Colin and just being able to work on like stupid fucking cute comics and just making another video about like 5 ways to make money as an artist and like call it a day and live this like super low-key life and whatnot. Like, I want that life so bad. I just want to live my like fucking like Etsy store. What was I doing before this version of me life? But now I have to live a version of my life where I literally feel like I have to fucking yell, you know, like, I don't know. Anyway, this is not going to be the end of you hearing from me. I just probably am going to be more on Instagram, sharing my thoughts about this situation until I figure out what the fuck is next. And I feel like, you know, in the spirit of Colin, that's kind of always been him, is like, he's not that type of person to let that kind of mindset scare him. He's always been that type of person to be like, okay, well, like, what's next? Yeah, anyway, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting me on this channel for the past many years. Literally, this was one of the ways I was able to support us throughout all of the hardships. But now that that part of my life is over, I feel pretty comfortable with parting ways with this channel for now. But it's not in a way that is like, oh my god, like, screw you guys, like, I love you guys, thank you for your support. But I'm just kind of at a point where I have to do what I feel like is right for my life moving forward for now. And maybe I'll come back, but there's also no promises. So I will see you guys elsewhere.
Hey everybody, how you doing? I wanted to make this video today because, as you could tell from the title, the last 18 months have been some of the most unproductive days of my life. Even compared to my childhood, when I would run out into the forest and spend all day climbing trees or watching cartoons. Even compared to being a young adult where I would get high with my friends and play video games all day, somehow that felt more meaningful than the last 18 months. And it's very difficult to pinpoint what this feeling is. There's a malaise that's come over me that is pretty overwhelming, and I'm not sure what it is exactly. I know that it has to do with being disillusioned to the rat race. I feel like I successfully avoided it for the better part of a decade. And then I came back to the United States after living in China, and I sort of made a conscious decision to be a part of it. And I feel like that might have been one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made. I got into the software industry, and I've now been laid off 4 times in 5 years. And the last software layoff was 18 months ago. I've had 5 or 6 part-time jobs in the meantime. Most of that 18 months I was living off of my savings, which practically don't exist anymore. And it's a weird feeling because I feel like I've always been winging it, and it's always worked out for me. And recently, winging it isn't working out. And it's difficult to not hold it against myself. There's a big part of my brain that's blaming me. All the normal stuff. Like, there's the imposter syndrome where I feel like I'm not good enough to be part of the software industry, and that's why I got squeezed out. There's part of me that thinks, well, if I just worked harder, if I had studied harder, if I had not let up. Realistically, I mean, I was studying 16 hours a day. I put in over 1,500 hours in my first 5.5 months, and that was to break into the industry. I couldn't have worked harder. But then once I got a stable job, I fell back to only working 50 hours a week. And frankly, I'm sort of just a B average student. And in an industry where there's hundreds of thousands of unemployed engineers, I suppose being a B average student isn't good enough. I recently failed, not recently, it was like 6 months ago. I failed an interview for Apple, and I got, I want to say like an 88% on the first test they sent me, and needless to say, a B plus isn't good enough to work at Apple. So I'm blaming myself, but I know that I don't deserve all of the blame. And there's something paralyzing about it. It's not necessarily depression, and it's not necessarily self-pity or blame, but it's more like, it almost feels like I betrayed myself. When I was younger, I told myself that I would never play the rat race. I knew that the only way to win was to not get involved. And so I became obsessed with investment, and I became obsessed with finding niches that I could get into where I would make a ton of money for a very small amount of work, and I would live in very cheap places like China where I would have a fantastic quality of life. I was working like 90 hours or 90 minutes a week in China. I would have 6 months of paid vacation a year, yada, yada, yada. I could go on and on about the benefits. But deciding to be part of the rat race really feels like I betrayed myself. And now it's been 5 years since I've been back from China. It's been 18 months since I've had an engineering job. And I'm sort of starting over. And it's not something that I'm unfamiliar with, but I'm suddenly extremely aware of my age. I'm 33. I'm about exactly halfway through my 33rd year. And I'm suddenly realizing that if I want family, if I want kids, if I want a wife who can stay home with the kids, I'm suddenly facing a financial dilemma that can't be solved in any reasonable terms. And perhaps if I had some extremely high-paying skill to fall back on, if I was like an electrician, I could just go do that. But my entire work history is the food service industry, education, and software. Software doesn't want me. Even when I offer to work for free as an unpaid intern, which is the most insulting, when I'll go through a 7-round interview with a company who's considering paying me 140 or 160 grand. And at the end of the interview, they admit to me, yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. We would hire you, but we only have 2 open positions and we got 300 applicants, and there's literally dozens of people who did better than you. So we can't justify hiring you. And then I respond to them, well, how about I work for you for free for the next 4 months or 6 months? And then maybe you just consider hiring me at the end of that. And they say, no. It's like, you were just considering paying me 140 grand and you won't take my work for free now? Software industry doesn't want me. Even a good teaching job in America, you've instantly entered poverty. A good teaching job is like 50 grand a year. That's instantly hand to mouth. Living as a single, healthy man who lives cheaply. I eat a lot of canned food. My diet is mostly milk and eggs. I would immediately be in poverty, just living alone as a teacher in America. Not to mention that teachers get treated like shit. So that's not an option. And in the food service industry, even a well-paying job in the industry is necessarily a dead-end job because it's such a grind and it's so abusive that you have to be young and healthy, and it helps if you're abusing drugs. So much of the industry is. But I'm 33 and I have a severe back injury. I can't do 14-hour days in the restaurant anymore like I used to be able to. I actually, right after I got laid off, I went back into the industry because that's my safety net, the food service industry. And my back simply wasn't recovering between shifts, and I knew that if I continued doing this, I'd end up in a wheelchair. So my previous history means nothing. Investment only matters insofar as you can contribute, and if you have no income, you can't contribute to your investments. And quality of life in America relies on you making substantially more than the national average. I apologize, I'm sick right now. The national average is like 50 grand. You need to make double that to get the benefits of living in America. And if you want a family and you don't want your wife to work, triple that would be the bare minimum. 150 grand a year to have a stay-at-home wife and to have kids and to be scraping by in the middle class. And when you start comparing, you just do the math and you start assembling lists of how to make 150 grand while having an injury that prevents you from working labor jobs, without having a technical degree, and without having an entrepreneurial path. I don't own a business or anything, and I don't have any plans on buying or starting a business anytime soon. There really aren't a lot of paths forward. And the irony about investing is that it radically changed my life, but because I've never had any life-changing investments, I'll have like a 3x or a 5x or a 7x every now and then, but I don't have any Dogecoin like 100x. I don't have any Bitcoin 1000x or Nvidia 10,000x. Those are the types of investments that move you from the middle class to the upper class, or move you from the middle class to retirement, early retirement. And the irony is, I am extremely financially comfortable by the standards of a single man. I could sell everything I own right now and I could go live on a beach in Thailand for the next 20 years and never work another day and just drink myself to death. And there's part of me that wants to do that, but I want to have a family. So that feels like it's not an option. I mean, let's be real. It's not an option. If I want to bring children into this life and I want a functional, healthy household, I can't just go be a bum on the beach of Thailand. As much as I want to. That would be fucking awesome. Let's be real. And so I'm 33 and I'm somehow doing better than all of my peers, and it still feels like I'm failing. And it's such a frustrating feeling. And like I said, I've been winging it for the last 20 years. I mean, since the beginning of high school, I just decided I'm just going to roll with the punches, and I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to figure it out as I go, because I see all these people around me who are playing the official game. They're walking on the official path, and 99% of them are getting rammed up the ass. So I don't want to take that path. And so instead of taking that path, I'm going to build my own path. I'm going to forge my own way. And the software industry is sort of where that dream went to die. With the time that I put into software, I could have mastered other skills. If I had spent that time playing the guitar, I would be an exceptional guitar player. If I had spent that time back in school, I could have gotten a master's degree in anything, trivially, with the same amount of effort and time invested. And yet, for the thousands of hours, if I had to guess, I'd say probably somewhere between 5,000 to 10,000 hours in the 5 years that I was involved in the industry. These days, I only work on software when I personally want to work on something. That 5,000 to 10,000 hours gave me nothing as a result. I have software as a personal skill, but not at such a level where I can make things that are truly impressive. I can make things that are functional. It's sort of like carpentry. I got into carpentry 5 years ago. I know enough carpentry that I can build a table for myself. It might not be a table that people are willing to pay $1,000 for, but it's more than functional enough for my purposes. I can build an application that suits some purpose in my life. It's not really good enough to sell, but you understand, you get the gist of what I'm saying. And so there's a sort of a painful reality to how old I am, that to move forward in a practical sense would be to try to get back on the path, the objective that I feel like I just failed. I'm at least a year or two away from taking any significant step on that path. And then even then I would be starting a career that other people have been working in for 10 or 15 years before they started seeing real returns. So then if we look forward, what am I going to be 45 before I'm making any real money? That's not an option. I know that some people are okay with it. And I know that the red pill lies to men all the time and tells them that they don't have a wall. That's a lie. You have a wall. It might be 10 years further down the line than women, but 10 years goes by like that. So let's not kid ourselves. We all have a wall and we're going to hit it. And so if I'm going to have kids, it needs to be within the next 5 years. I think I can stomach being 38 or maybe at the very latest 40 when I have my first kid, because I'm thinking forward. I'm thinking, sorry. I'm thinking I'm going to be 70 when the kid's 30. More importantly, I'm going to be 50 when the kid's 10 years old. How the fuck is 50-year-old me going to keep up with a 10-year-old? 33-year-old me would struggle to do it. I go and hang out with my brother and his kids, and it's maximum exertion just to keep up with them for like 3 days. At the end of the 3 days, I'm exhausted. And to get a little bit more selfish and a little bit more grounded, because children are such an ephemeral idea and nobody feels like they're ready, and everybody sort of rises to the occasion. 99% of kids throughout human history were not planned. This concept of planning children and being ready for children is a completely modern fabrication. Something much more grounded. I've had the dream of building my own home since I was a child. When I was a tiny, tiny child, I used to bring blueprints to my parents. I would take pieces of paper and I would sketch out designs for houses. And I wanted to always live in a castle, obviously, because I was a kid. And I would bring these to my parents. I'm like, I'm going to build this shit. And that's actually the primary reason I came back from China, because I had all this money from extremely successful investing. I grew my portfolio about 1,400% in those 4 years in China. So I came back from China. I was going to buy a big plot of land and start building a house. And then COVID hit and the price of land spiked 10x. And, it became a thing where you could buy beautiful land for $500 an acre before COVID. And when I say beautiful, I mean it has a view, it has running water, it has road frontage, it borders national or state parks, for the purpose of your neighbors not being developed, for $500 an acre. Today, you're lucky to find something for $5,000 an acre that has none of those benefits. You're just lucky if you're not downwind from a pig farm. The market is fucked. So the abandonment of that dream is something I still haven't accepted. I haven't accepted psychologically that I'm probably not going to get to build my own house, because land still exists. But it's land that I don't want to live on. I could still build a house, but it's going to cost 5 or 10 times more than it should have costed. And I'm going to have to accept a lower quality of life. And I'm not sure if realizing the dream is worth it, if the result of the dream is not something that I want. Does that make sense? And so this all comes back to age as well. When I was 23, I left for China. And at 23, I felt like I had all the time in the world. And the notion of building a house, it's always been sort of a 24-month plan. And I think it still is now, even at this age. If all the stars aligned financially and the opportunity for the land, everything aligned, I think I could buy a property today and I could have a home that's livable that I built myself within 24 months. However, I'm now at the age where every year that goes by, that goal is radically more difficult to achieve, because I'm not as young and energetic as I once was. And the opportunity cost of putting everything else in my life on hold for 2 years while I build a house, the opportunity cost spirals out of control. This is something that I've always said about streamers that people don't realize. And I use Asmongold. He's the perfect example, because so many people covet his life. And when people covet Asmongold's life and they think, man, wouldn't it be awesome to make $1 million a month playing video games? Obviously, objectively, yes, that would be awesome. But you have to appreciate the opportunity cost that he paid. And it was not a marginal cost. It was not a side hustle. His opportunity cost over the last 15 years or however long he's been streaming has been comprehensive, at the complete and utter sacrifice of effectively all other opportunities he streamed. And even then, he's part of the 1% of 1% who were successful. The other 99% of people who also sacrificed everything, who streamed just as long, did not become successful. So it's really dangerous to covet people's lives like that without appreciating the opportunity cost. And opportunity cost increases exponentially as you get older, because we're less capable. And so for the same reason that Asmongold isn't going to stop streaming and suddenly become a doctor or a lawyer, because the opportunity cost would be preposterous. There's no outcome where him as a lawyer outperforms him as a streamer. And just the time it would take for him to become a lawyer would ruin his streaming career.
That's so true. That's basically Kaizenat, like working as a designer. Like the opportunity cost for working as a designer outweighs him being a streamer. It just doesn't. Yeah.
And now at 33, I'm in a place where I have to make a decision of what sacrifices I need to make, because my door is closing, my window of opportunity. I know that a lot of guys listening to this who are maybe not in such good positions, when I say, oh yeah, I have the money to go live on a beach in Thailand for the next 20 years, they might think, oh my God, that's awesome. Why would you not do that? I know that it sounds awesome. And the passport bro thing has been hyped up so much, but I did the passport bro thing for many, many years. And it is a dead end. My obsession with investing and my extremely successful investing is the only reason that I didn't get trapped in that scenario. Effectively 100% of passport bros get trapped in the scenario they're in because it goes back to opportunity cost. Once they're there, whether they're in Thailand or Japan or wherever, at one point I got offered to go work on a military base in Afghanistan. They wanted to pay me over 100 grand a year. I said no, because fuck that. But once you get into a situation where you're living great and you're making great money relative to your cost of living, first of all, time flies. Secondly, the prospect of going back home and starting from zero is devastating. And it's effective. It's almost never worth it. Now, a lot of men do because they feel obligated. They feel obligated to come back home and be closer to their families, or they want to start a family with a woman from their own culture, whatever the reason is. The reality is it doesn't work out for almost any of them. The life that they were living overseas is almost always going to trump the life that they end up in here in the United States or in Europe, wherever they came from. And so, again, it's easy to glorify the passport bro thing, but it is a trap. And it's okay to walk into the trap knowing it's a trap like I did, and walking into it with some extremely clearly defined financial goals. And those goals were a ladder that I lowered down into the hole, and then I climbed into the hole knowing that I have a ladder to get back out. A lot of other guys, most of the guys just jumped in, and then once they're in, they looked around like, oh fuck, how do I get out of this hole? And they're never going to. So I don't know what I'm doing right now. And if you had asked me at any point in the last 15 years, I would have said the exact same thing, but this is the only time it's ever bothered me. This is the only time in my life where that answer bothers me, and it bothers me a lot, because I do feel like I've run out of time. I feel like this is my last chance to put the pieces together that are necessary to set me up to have the type of life that I suppose I wanted at some deep level. Even when I was a passport bro fucking around Asia, at some deep level, I always wanted a family and children, and I wanted to have a nice house in a rural part of the country, and I wanted to spend my days chopping wood and hunting and fishing and spending time with my children, and sort of a soft retirement. But if that's not in the cards, I don't know that I'm willing, and maybe this is cowardice. Maybe I'm just not brave enough. Maybe I'm not brave enough to YOLO into a family like our parents did. Effectively, all of our parents just YOLO'd into a family. Most of them got married when they were in their early 20s. By their late 20s, they had one or multiple kids, and they just fucking figured it out. Now, they also had some of the strongest currency that America's ever seen. They had some of the lowest cost of living that America's ever seen. They had some of the highest wages relative to cost of living that America's ever seen. They had the most outrageous economic boom. Basically, if you bought any stock in any company, you made out like a bandit. But I don't know. And maybe it is cowardice, but I really don't know. I can't accept myself. I can't accept the idea of YOLOing into starting a family. And it's funny, actually, I was having this conversation with my girlfriend a little while ago. We speak very openly about children and marriage and things like this. I hate the idea of marriage, but I appreciate that no valuable woman is going to give you children without a ring. That just is what it is. And the irony of having a ride or die woman is that if you jump into a snake pit, she'll jump in with you. And then it's your fucking fault that the two of you are stuck in a snake pit. It's not her fault. It's your fault. And I was explaining to her, I was like, I recognize that you're ride or die, and I like that quality, but I don't want to expect you to be ride or die from day one. It's like, right? The moment she says I do, it's like, okay, instantly riding the struggle bus. And maybe we'll only ride the struggle bus for the next 10 or 15 years like our parents did. Maybe we'll ride it forever. YOLO. I don't know, man. I don't have that. I don't think I have that in me. And so I've really lost, it's not that I've lost direction, because I feel like I never had direction. It's more like I've always had an embarrassment of riches in the sense of opportunities. I've always had more opportunities than I have free time. And it always felt like my opportunities were so good that there was no bad decision. And that has been the case up till now. Everything I've touched has turned to gold. It wasn't until I decided to get into the software industry that was the first real mistake of my adult life. And so I think I'm just sort of struggling to cope with the feeling that now I have all these opportunities like I always have, but now I'm no longer so optimistic about them. I feel like I have, instead of a multitude of exceptional options, I feel like I have a multitude of mediocre options. And I know that that's sort of complaining from a position of privilege, but having to give up on so many dreams so quickly, watching the door shut left and right, and watching the time fly by. I've been in Austin now. This is my 5th year, I believe, in Austin. Maybe my 4th year. I've been closing out my 4th year. And I feel like I just got here yesterday. I feel like I don't even know shit about the city. And that's probably indicative of how unhealthy the software industry has been on my mental state, because every other city I've ever landed in, give me 2 to 4 years and I'll be an expert in the city. I'll have deep roots planted. I'll have wide and deep networks of friends and contacts and business associates. And Austin, I feel like a stranger. And I think it's because my first 3 years here was a nonstop destructive obsession with software that was just ultimately like an abusive relationship. And then the last 18 months has just been sort of this malaise where I'm just trying to not let myself fall into self-destructive habits. And I'm trying to get that wind in my sails that I've had thus far, that I've had all the way up until I was 30, really. That wind that gave me the confidence that it felt like with this wind in my sails, there's no such thing as a wrong direction. And now it feels like there's no wind. And if there's no wind, then there is no right direction. So, yeah. And at the end of the day, maybe I give up on dreams. Maybe I max that out. Maybe I say, I'm just not going to have a family anytime soon. Maybe I go back overseas and and I go extreme. Forget about Bangkok. I go straight to Shanghai. I go right back into communism. All roads lead to communism. And maybe a year from now, I'm working in a kindergarten in Shanghai, and I'm making $6,500 a month, which is enough that I could save 20 or 30 grand a year right into investments. And I do that for the next 5 years until I'm 38. And now I have enough money to come home because that's not just contribution. There's going to be fantastic market growth, and I have no doubt that my investing acumen will continue to pay off for me. But at that point, I'm 38. Do what? Then I come home and, well, time to meet a good woman, fall in love. Again, never been a problem for me, humble brag. But we all have a wall. And I wasn't the most confident young man, but I've seen pictures of myself when I was 20. I was a handsome bastard. I'm definitely less attractive now than I was then. Although, if you asked me then, I would have said that I'm unattractive. I had very poor self-esteem when I was young. And I have zero confidence that I'm going to be more attractive when I'm 38 than I am now. So, maybe all of this is just my own realization that I cannot have my cake and eat it too. That I'm going to have to make some severe sacrifices. And most of my dreams won't come true. And it's really time to shit or get off the pot. Because this last 18 months of listlessness, where I've accomplished almost nothing of significance. I got my first paid screenwriting job, which is the only thing I'm proud of in the last 18 months, for Nikhil Pende for Captain Sinbad. I wrote River Rats Part 1, and we're working on Part 2, 3, and 4 now. But that's not a justification for 18 months. It's not at all. So this inaction, stagnation, is unforgivable. Making a bad decision is probably better than making no decision at all, because I'm not getting any younger. Anyway, that's enough yapping for today. Let me know in the comment section if any of y'all have been wasting time. If you wasted time in the wrong industry, or if COVID totally fucked up your dreams. Let me know. Subscribe. Bye-bye.
Chat. I'm getting out of here.